minimum prize is the World Championship, which is a lot. So I'm excited to see what we have happen out of this. But as we get ready for our first match, we are just a few minutes out here, Woody, and it looks like there's our timer. We're going to be watching Imperium Titans Exports versus VN Esporting. We saw VN Esporting play against Navi yesterday. They put up a good fight, but in the end, Navi was able to edge them out there, and they were able to claim that first playoffs position. So let's take a look at the rosters here, Woody. Let's see what the teams will be sending out on the field today.
That's right. The Imperium Titans representing ET-Exports here on the left are going to have Al-Mualin, Cynthia, Arium, Kingsman, and Tryhard. You may have seen these guys before fighting under the MS Esports banner. They are former Worlds competitors, having been at the World stage at least as often as any other team, and coming away with semi-final performances leading up to a third place showing the previous year. But they've got a great set of opponents against them. Eric, let us know who's on the VN Esporting team.
Looking at Demo Imran, who's perfect in the Swiss stages right now with 3 out of 3. That is a very impressive performance there. But next, so Danny, Elic, and iPro. And it's kind of interesting that Elic is on the other team, because Elic was actually playing when MS Esports was all as one team, and they played and got third place in the World Championship, like you mentioned. So switching sides here, switching teams, roster mix-ups, but looks like we're just about ready to kick it off here into the action. So we'll see how he does against his former team and see how his new team does as a whole against such a high-caliber team. But I've been saying it since the Town Hall 15 season started, since Town Hall 15 came out, that these two teams are in my top 5 in the world right now. And the other handful of teams that I would say are my top 5 already made it through. So Navi and Class Gems already pulling through and making the playoffs. So I think that both of these teams will probably end up making it the playoffs, because this is the upper bracket. As you can see, they're both 2-1. And so if they lose here, they just need to get 3 wins before they take 3 losses to make it into the playoffs. So they got to win either this war or the next one, and they can make it through. So this one, just get it out of the way early, right, Woody?
Yeah, it sure would be nice to do that. And you know what would be even nicer is getting an upset win. We saw a few of those yesterday, where teams that had kind of come out of the woodwork, had been preparing really hard in the previous weeks and months even, had a chance to show up and defeat higher ranked teams. In this case, it looks like the higher ranked team is going to be the Imperium Titans, coming in with an average star of 12.3 with 94.7% destruction. MVP for that team, Cynthia, is going to try to do his best to defeat Imran from the opposing squad, who came in really, really close as well on the average star count. But it seems like the hit rates for these teams, even up at the very top, have only really been about 50%. So expect wars to be won with that 13-star, maybe even 14-star total. Very difficult to achieve the perfect war, although we did see a few yesterday, so keep your eye out for that possibility yet today.
Yeah, I don't know if these bases that they've been bringing out here for these high-end teams here, their base building teams, are absolutely stellar. They are good at messing up the opponents, predicting what they're going to be coming in with, and we'll see if they're able to do so here. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are underway. Kingsman going to be kicking us off here with a Queen Charge into Hogminer Hybrid. Now, the Queen Charge into Hogminer Hybrid is an attack that generally works against these diamond-style bases, where the Town Hall is moved off into more of a quarter rather than a flat edge of the base there. And if you see that, then this is ideal for it. He's got multiple bomb towers in that Town Hall compartment, which is more value for a Queen Charge to claim. And make sure those hogs and miners are not getting hit by the bomb towers. But you guys be careful down there, because we're already seeing black air bombs going off, and we'll see how this Queen Charge develops here with you.
Yeah, perfect timing on that free spell to shut down the single target Inferno. Of course, that can absolutely end a raid very quickly. Meanwhile, Kingsman has been dropping additional troops along the top left side, doing a little bit more funneling work and taking out some of the exterior buildings out there to make sure that they don't cause any problems. Taking down that Town Hall earns him the first star. Of course, the second will come from 50%, and that third and final coveted star is going to come from total destruction of the space within 3 minutes. He's going to invest a lot of time on his Queen Charge out in the beginning to make sure that the base is set up perfectly for this Hog Rider hit. Hogs and Miners really can do a great amount of damage when paired up together, but they need the base to be set up for a perfect funnel. That's why he has dropped that Siege Barracks over on the right side. It's going to spit out a Pekka, some Wizards, and those Hogs finally to go help out with the rest of this raid now. Coming in from the bottom right position, Grand Warden will protect them all, and they're even going to catch a few Tesla traps early on here. Rage spells for the defenses are coming out now, and as well as the CC troops, it's going to be Ice Golems, Eric.
And on top of that, he's got Eagle Artillery Strikes raining down on top of him. Lots of incoming damage right there with potential that his troops are clumped up heavily as they move through that compartment. So keep an eye out for those Eagle Artillery Strikes. They can mow down a lot of hogs and miners in a hurry. But he's powering through that Rage Tower very efficiently. He's got his push into the Multi-Inferno. He's got an extra heal spell as he moves into the Multi. And the Queen was able to get her job done on the other side of the base there. She cleared that Rage Tower. The biggest concern I have right now is how he's going to deal with this very, very top corner with the Eagle continuing to fire down, but he does get the protection in the middle of the base. He's got Grass Skellies, but he gets the Monolith down before he gets distracted right there, and he's looking pretty solid here with a Road Champion ability on standby. He's got a Headhunter on standby to help him get through the defensive king, and everybody has regrouped and is arriving together. This is looking good. That was a clean Queen charge into Hog Miner hybrid here, Woody.
Oh yeah, it is a homecoming march now back to the top side of the base where these heroes will be able to finish everything off and claim those 3 stars. Kingsman from Imperium Titans has done it. I keep on wanting to say Exports because that's the name that they've chosen here. But the Imperium Titans Kingsman has got first blood with 3 stars in the first strike. Very difficult, jittery moment here, but he manages to pull it off, and that's going to put them on the path toward victory. Got to hold on to it, though, and hope that those bases can defend against the might of the VN Esporting squad that'll be coming up just shortly after this.
Absolutely, and that's one of the first times I've seen a hybrid actually be able to take down a base with a double Rage Tower. The only reason I think he was able to pull that off there, which typically would get shut down when people try to put hybrid through 2 Rage Towers. Usually you can get through 1 with like the ward ability like he did there, but the fact that he was able to transition the Queen into the second Rage Tower off the Town Hall takedown, that was a critical thing that he was able to identify and realize that that attack could have some potential to work on that specific base. So excellent base identification right there. That was a perfect plan for that base, but let's see if this plan from Exo Danny is perfect for this one. We got Uriam on defense as he has a Queen charge into Hog Miner, or excuse me, Queen charge into LaLo. Mix it up with the last one there, Woody.
Starting off over on the left side corner this time, he's going to get some good poke into these buildings, dropping a few coconut loons as well, seeking around for enemy black bombs. Hasn't found any yet, but that should be an easy, clean entry point for this Queen. He's even going to drop another balloon there, looking for any more black bombs, but gets distracted a little bit by the air defense along the top side. Looks like he won't be committing too many more to this early stab here. Rolls in that wall breaker, boom! Cracks into a compartment and going to give that Queen another easy access to a huge number of defenses internally there. We'll watch and see which direction she goes as the CC troops kind of start to spread out now and give her a little bit more trouble. Ice Golems are going to slow her down at a spot that she does not want to be slowed down at. That Monolith is firing away at her really fast, Eric.
Yeah, that's a lot of incoming damage there, but she is sustaining through the rage. At least the Ice Golems are coming at an angle where they're not going to freeze up the healers. So as long as he sustains a rage on her, that he can keep her moving. And if she moves in the core, she still has her ability to protect herself. So she can pop it if she does get into trouble against that Monolith. But honestly, there's not too much damage there. Once the Town Hall activates, he's going to be increasing the damage incoming pretty significantly. So it might be important that he pops the King ability to generate a whole bunch of Barbarians right before that Town Hall activation. And that's exactly what he does there. All the Barbarians hold all the beams of the Town Hall's Inferno and keep the Queen and her healers safe there as she takes the Monolith down and moves into the core of the base there. On top of that, she got that Rage Tower to trigger a bit early, so now it's going to be faded, and that Multi-Inferno is not going to cause any problems by the time the Blues get there. So he's in a very strong position, but he's a little bit low on spells, using the last freeze right there, and he's almost just coasting, but he's got plenty of hero abilities here with him.
Yeah, I also noticed he rolled a wall breaker in through there. I'm not sure if that was intended to crack open any compartments because it looks like the Queen has access to anything and everything that she needs. The Barb King has already gone down, so maybe that was just trying to catch the tornado trap up there or just kind of fishing around. But nonetheless, Exo Danny has had no problem at all finishing off the space on the far back side. I mean, this is just absolutely crushed, Eric. Wow. Another 100% to start this war off, and we are going to be even keel between these two teams, both with 3 stars to start. VN Esporting and their opponents, the Imperium Titans, are both at the very tops of their game, and they have woke up this morning with vengeance, ready to pump through and get that 3rd win to try to move on through the Swiss stage. But as we mentioned, only one team can advance, and it's going to be up to the later stage attacks to see which one of those is going to falter and give an opening to one of these teams to move on.
Oh yeah, it's always impressive when you see the opening attacker be able to go out there and smash a base like that, because they only have a couple minutes to plan. They have the first attacker has the least amount of time to plan, so they're gonna have usually first pick on bases so they can go in and get a base that they're comfortable with, and then everybody else will go after the bases that may look a little bit more complicated, where they have to come break out some creativity to try to figure out how to break those bases down. So there's definitely a lot of team dynamics there. You got to have a mix of players who can run a more complex plan and hit those later stage bases, but then you have to have the people who are ready to go right from the beginning, who can immediately identify a strategy and find a way to take it down with whatever they're comfortable with. Usually the players like that have a couple of attacks that they're super proficient with, and so you really do have to have a lot of variety in your team roster, and that's, I think, where these teams excel. They've built their roster around that, where they have a couple of specialists, a couple of very creative and adaptable people, and that mix is what carries them here today, and you see it in play right there with that opening set of attacks. I really like what they're doing there, and that was some good plans, and those bases were absolutely smashed. But here we go. Al Muallen could be sending the next one, Woody. We have our first Electro Titan smash attack here, but not with lightning. He's actually brought in maybe a Skelly Donut, you think? He's got, no, not a Skelly Donut. He does have skeleton spells, though. I wonder what he's going to use them for.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to find out. We've seen them used as distraction, of course, before, but with 3 multi-target Infernos in the interior, you gotta wonder where he's gonna be dropping those. Maybe up on the Monolith section up at the top? We'll have to watch. That Warden Walk has got really long range. It's gonna get a lot of good early damage against this right side corner. Might even be able to snipe that scatter shot. Do you think it's got the range to hop on in there and get that done?
Yeah, I definitely want to go after the scatter shot. That'd be the primary target. On a base like this, I would expect a Tesla farm to either be by the Queen or the Royal Champion. And so he had to be prepared to deal with it on either side there, but we'll see where it ends up popping. Looks like he's already setting a funnel down at the very bottom of the base there. Actually just dropping in a hog and a golem down there and putting in a solo log launcher in from the bottom of the base. It needs to stay protected, and it is staying protected. That golem providing exactly the protection he needs, and the Warden was able to finish off that scatter shot, and he'll start his punch into the base. And with that log launcher staying as protected with that golem as it has been, with very few other troops around it, he's going to try to open up the middle of the base and give access to transition these Electro Titans into the
There it is.
If he does that, that's really high value.
Yeah, he rolls right through those walls and knocking them all down, and the Electro Titans have free reign to march straight through now. Those multi-target Infernos are not going to be too much trouble at all for Heroes and Electro Titans, who have a ton of hit points. And as they start to collapse now along the interior of the base, it's going to be that big old Town Hall Inferno beam that's eating them up. He's got to be aware of that big damage. Fires off one of his freezes, only has 1 left to use against them. But as those troops start to collapse in the middle, they're all going to be benefiting from that Grand Warden aura. He is still able to pop off both an Archer Queen ability and a Royal Champion ability. I don't think that the defenses in the top corner of the space can put up much of a fight. They do have the Tesla farm up there, though, so he's got to be wary of big incoming damage along the top side. Dodging these poisons as best he can. The Archer Queen's still barely alive. Goes down now. It's getting a little dicey toward the end here. He's already tossed off that Royal Champion shield. I don't know. He's running out of steam pretty quick, Eric.
Oh no, he's got this one Electro Titan along the top side of the base. He puts in a Valkyrie up there as well. He's got all those Barbarians regenerated from the King ability that were able to keep that defensive King at bay, but that Electro Titan as well is hanging on by a thread. He's down to light troops. He's got the healers. He's got a headhunter charge going on. The healers are still alive. They were taken for just a moment. He gets the first of the abilities down, but he's running out of steam here, down to just the Phoenix, and no, he gets shut down. That top corner was heavy. It was stacked, and it shuts down the rest of his troops there, and that's always the difficulty when you have to pass through that Town Hall poison. If it does too much damage, if it slows down your strikes too much there, it can shut an attack down when you're moving into a high damage area right behind it. And that top corner, that's where the Tesla farm was. I thought the Tesla farm, like I said, was going to be on the right or left, and he probably did as well. And he had a really strong force moving through both of those areas to deal with it early, but the back end Tesla farm at the very top of the base, having to deal with that so late when you're so thinned out, is not easy to do here with.
Yeah, of course, you want to hit that early and hard when you still have all your troops up, dishing out maximum damage. Once you've lost half your Electro Titans and the Archer Queen's distracted by a bunch of storages, you do not want those Teslas firing away at her like that. Came super close to keeping that 3-star rate up, but 2-star 94% is not anything to be embarrassed about. That is certainly a strong showing here. If we do come down to a percentage tiebreaker, that'll be a good back pocket item for them to have there. 94%, very strong, keeping that overall damage destruction up. But Demo has the chance to come over the top now with a 3-star of his own. Let's see what he's got. Bringing in the Dragon Riders this time, back to the skies. Not even going to be queen charging with him too. He's just going to be going Sui down in this bottom corner to get a little bit of work done first on those storages. Sneaky Gobs make all their way in and won't be denied those elixir storages. That'll give him an easy, free air defense to take out. Just protected right now by that single lone wizard tower at the bottom. Taking a look back at the rest of the base, though, I'm noticing that there are 2 air sweepers pointed opposite directions right there in the interior next to the clan castle. That can cause some difficulties for those Dragon Riders who move a little bit slow, but can target directly onto defenses and won't have a whole lot of trouble with these air defenses, I don't expect, which are also going to be positioned right next to those scatter shots. Easy targets for the free spells, which he's brought 4 up here now. Grabs the Town Hall with additional Sneaky Gobs, and we'll start the charge up on the top side with that log launcher, Eric.
Yeah, this attack is all about... You can only do this attack when you can hit the Town Hall with those Sneaky Goblins, but the Sneaky Bat Rider definitely is an attack that was very popular at Town Hall 14, and it absolutely levels bases there. But at Town Hall 15, it's a little bit more difficult because we have a few more defensive tools to work with to try to stop it, but the big kill squad in from the top of the base here, making sure to time the ward ability with the king ability so you get all those barbarians to be invincible, to get more and more value. But the biggest thing here is keeping the log launcher protected so it stays alive as long as possible, takes as many strikes as possible, and if he can get the main force to continue all the way through this compartment, get all of the defensive heroes down so the road champion has free reign over the backside, and then get these multis. If he gets the multis down, he can start the bats over on the right side scatter shot, and he can start to sweep them around. So watch every bit of splash damage that remains on the base here, because he's going to have to handle all of it to sweep this bat wave through. And if he does, this base is absolutely demolished, Woody.
Lots of big black bombs going off against those Dragon Riders along the top side. He has chosen instead to protect that Archer Queen with his Grand Warden, and that has left those Dragon Riders high and dry, not able to even find their way onto the Monolith yet. That is a massive amount of damage going to be dished out. As soon as it gets a lock on one of those heroes, it's going to be a big problem for Demo. He does get the freeze out, though. Grand Warden and Archer Queen are getting low on health. There's only 1 freeze left. He hasn't popped it yet. Bats are down, though. Bats have only got to worry about splash damage, and it doesn't look like there is very much left here except for that Wizard Tower along the bottom. Distracted with a Wizard of his own and a few minions, and I think he has got it. Cleanup is going to take a long time, though, and he's only got 18 seconds, Eric.
No, maybe he doesn't have it. Yeah, he didn't have enough tanking for the Wizard Tower at the bottom. He threw in light troops on it, but he needed something bigger. He needed a giant. He needed something, a balloon, anything to be able to take that Wizard Tower out of commission so it couldn't turn onto the bats, and now he can't go back for the Monolith. If he would have got the one shot, if he would have got the bats to stay together, then they might have been able to get it down there and prevent those strikes from the Wizard Tower, but it was able to turn on him. That is tragic right there, but you know what? That is a defense, and they definitely needed a defense right now, and or for the other side, I mean. So that ties up our score here as we see a triple for a triple and a defense for a defense. But where did our percentage land there? I think we're extremely
96.
close on percentage right here.
Yeah, 96%. That's an advantage for VN Esporting by just 2% over the Empyrean Titans. Very, very tight and very much not likely to be decisive as we've seen these hit rates plummet relative to previous years down into the 30-40% mark. It is very much more likely that we're going to see a win based on stars. But hey, he's done everything that he needed to do at this point. 96% keeps VN Esporting ahead of the competition. We'll see now if Cynthia, one of the star players here from the Imperium Titans, is able to keep that rate up and maybe even surge back into the 3-star zone. Brought 1 golem in here to block for this queen charge, leading into a LaLo strike. He's going to be using that Electro Zap out on the core of the base and gets a gigantic chunk of those defenses down. You see that Archer Queen is just reeling from the attack, and as he sets up that Flamelinger, he will also not have to worry about another Air Sweeper. There was a multi-target Inferno in there. Of course, you see that Rage Spell has also been triggered. A very nice key target. And wow, yeah, look at that, Eric.
But he missed that invisibility, so he's potentially going to end up missing this Inferno. He's got the bats onto it, but they do not have enough to take that Inferno down. The Lightning was able to clear out some key targets there, but destroying the CC was an important target. It is not unrecoverable, though. He left up one multi-Inferno, and he's not going to have any spells as he makes his way in with the next phase of attack here. He used up every single spell that he has, and as he pushes the heroes into Town Hall, they're not going to have any problem taking it. But he does need to finish breaking the ring of defenses, so that's why the World Champion came in on the far right side of it. She's going after the scatter shot. If she's able to go get the scatter shot down, then he will pick up the value that she's looking for, but she's running into some Teslas over there, running into some ground Skellies. He has his Queen still moving, trying to get that Expo off of his World Champion, but she's taking Eagle Artillery Strikes, and if she gets that scatter shot, he's still okay, and we'll see if he can recover this, Woody, but that multi with no spell support and the Rage Tower right next to it gonna boost his damage. That might break Synthe's perfect 3-star rate here so far in the Swiss stages.
That is just the hardest question that every player has to ask himself whenever they're setting up for an attack. Do I want to spend more spells early on to get more damage done and give myself an easier target for this base? Or do I want to hold on to a few spell slots in the backside so that I have some more versatility, responsiveness to the traps that wind up springing up, to any mistakes or any confusions that happen along the way? Cynthia has really committed hard to this plan, and he has got to hope that it continues along without a hitch, but that multi-target Inferno being up still is just the death knell for this raid, Eric. Losing so many balloons to it so early on. Even that Eagle Artillery has just been firing away without any response whatsoever. I think Cynthia has finally missed the 3-star mark, and it's going to be coming home with 2 stars, but might be able to push this into the 90 percentages. That Monolith just causing even more problems for the heroes that were pathing toward the center of the base. They're trying to support these balloons valiantly, but not able to get it in the end.
Yeah, when you miss that invisibility, like your heart sinks right there for a moment as you know that if you're using every single spell to try to get these multi-Infernos out of the way here so you don't have to deal with the LaLo. When you have to push a LaLo through a raged up Inferno, you can see how much damage that thing can dish out. And so Freeze is right there, extremely valuable if you have that standing, but it wasn't supposed to be standing. That invisibility, that first invisibility they put down to try to take out the CC and the Inferno there, we're supposed to cover the bats and cover the skeletons, but if it ends up covering the building that you're trying to strike, then they don't have any to go after, and it causes those Skelly Donuts to miss. But a big investment, and now we can see the other wars that are going on as we continue to see 3 wars going simultaneously. All 3 of these different wars are going to send a team into the playoffs. So it looks like we have all defenses between Chasmac G.S and Badzinger, and all defenses in the other war as well. Everybody's defending right now, Woody.
Big defensive energy right now from Chasmac, Badzinger, and Inquisition across the board. Just those 2 3-stars that we got to see, fortunately, at the beginning of this match here. So I'm glad we got to see some triples here at the beginning of our day. Let's switch it back to iPro now and see if VIA and Esporting can hold on to the lead. There's only been 13% missing on the Empyrean Titan side of the map. And so this is still certainly very close if they can manage to get another defense here now against iPro. He's brought in another one of these LaLo armies that have just become the mainstays of attacking forces. Starting off with this Queen over on the right side, going to be doing a little bit of a dive. He did bring those 5 healers, and is holding on to them just to make sure that they can get perfectly positioned, even doing a little bit of Coconut Loon searching on that bottom right side to see if there's any seeking air mines, and finding nothing. He feels safe to move on in. He'll be able to grab this enemy Barbarian King very shortly, has knocked down that scatter shot as well. This is a lot of big early damage for these heroes, Eric.
Yeah, just gonna need to be on point here with this queen as she can reach the Eagle Artillery and the Multi-Inferno. It doesn't look like she's planning to go inside of that compartment, but the poison will slow down the defensive queen. He's in a little bit of a bind right now because he has the defensive queen striking at him, but at the same time, he has Ice Golem freezing up his queen. He puts in a Headhunter inside of the Rage and tries to get in there to snipe off the defensive queen, but she's able to get that she's trying to get the Headhunter off of her for a second, and he was able to get through her eventually, but he invested some spells into that. He's taking Eagle Artillery strikes, able to withstand those strikes as well. He's got the Queen ability still on standby, and with the Poison Tower being thrown, he has very little left for threats for him until he gets to the defensive border, so he can coast and concentrate on the LaLo as it pushes in from the top side.
That Lava Hound just was obliterated, Eric, there to protect the balloons, but it did virtually nothing because the Teslas just zapped through it so quickly. iPro is responding very, very well, though. Dropped that free spell to keep them safe and then popped that Grand Warden Eternal Tome right as soon as they pathed over. Those balloons managed to make it to the far side and were able to take out that multi-target Inferno. Kind of a wasted freeze there. Everything was almost already dead in that compartment. He's going to continue along the left side, though, and it looks like he's looking pretty strong here as the Arch Queen at the bottom is still very healthy with those healers to help her out, and this entire compartment along the left side has just been absolutely crushed now. I still do see that Royal Champion on defense, firing away at balloons and trying her best to keep that. Oh no! What happened to the queen down there, Eric?
Yeah, she went.
What
down
happened to her? She has so many healers still.
Yeah, she got overwhelmed by that Expo. Those ground Expos just sustained damage for such a long time. And that Royal Champion, he popped that freeze. It wasn't a wasted freeze. He was trying to keep that defensive Royal Champion at bay. And unfortunately, he's not able to get through her. But he still has a little bit of a chance of getting this Archer Tower down. No, he can't. I thought maybe there was a chance that the Phoenix could finish it off there. But no, it's a 95%. It's another defense. Sinte wasn't able to get the triple, but he was able to pick up the defense, and that's going to give a percentage advantage into VN Esporting's favor. But Woody, we're back to tie here.
Yeah, back to another extremely close war. We'd expect nothing less from two of the top-ranked teams. As you said, maybe among the best 5 teams in the world, right there with Clash Champs and Navi, who have already qualified. We certainly hope that the better team wins, and there's a good chance that as we figure out which of these teams is better, that we will get to see that. I don't know exactly what I'm saying. I'm just like shocked from that last attack. I thought it was going to be a 3-star. I was like almost so certain ready to cast that, and then the Queen, yeah, has just been taking so much Expo fire throughout the entirety of the second half of that raid. Winds up going down with only 5% of the base still left standing. VN Esports, if my math isn't completely off, I think still has like a 4 or 5% advantage over Imperium Titans at this point. And as we get later in the war, that little slim advantage, small as it may be, will just be oppressive on Imperium Titans, who know that they need to come in over the top. It's not enough just to get those high percentage 2-stars. Try Hard is going to do just that on this next base with another hybrid army to bring to bear here. Starting off with the Queen charge, it's going to poke through this left side corner with a safe Flame Flinger deploy, thanks to those balloons, making a very noble sacrifice.
Counting a 6-building split right now with a 1.2 difference. That should be exactly 6 buildings here separated between the teams. So yes, he will put in another attempt at a Queen Charge Hog Miner hybrid. That's what they got the triple with on their open attack. But we see another very similar base to what we saw in that opening one, with the bomb towers in the Town Hall compartment, in a corner compartment of the base rather than a flat edge or in the middle, which is ideal for a Queen Charge Hog Miner hybrid. But once again, we see the dual rage towers on the top and the bottom quadrants of the base. And so I said it at the start there. I've never seen a hybrid be able to push through a double rage tower, except for when we see the Queen actually transition from the Town Hall compartment and she deals with one of the rage towers herself. So that's what we're going to need to see out of this, because otherwise we saw what the rage tower can do with Multi-Inferno against that LaLo, but it can do the same thing against these hog attacks if they stay unprotected. So the Queen is able to power through that single Inferno, catches a whole bunch of traps ahead of her, and will lock on and secure the first star at the Town Hall.
Yeah, I'm noticing that single target Inferno protecting the Town Hall seems to be a pretty important strat for VN Esporting, trying to deny these sorts of strikes. Tryhard even getting a little bit more value there, using balloons to finish off the rest of that compartment and checking for seeking air mines. Missed one of them though there, and as you saw, one of the healers went down. Bad news for him, as that Archer Queen is not very healthy at all and relies upon that rage now to get her topped back off a bit more. She's going to get some help though, as the cavalry is starting to charge on in. We've got Hog Riders readied up with that Grand Warden Eternal Tome busting through the top compartment. But as you mentioned, Eric, she really does need to make it all the way down to that bottom section where another raged up Multi-Inferno is prepped and ready to fire away at these Hogs. We've popped all the tomes. We've only got one more heal spell and freeze out. There it goes onto the scatter shot.
Oh, he's managing it well there. Freeze up the scatter shot, and the heal gets him through that Multi-Inferno. The Queen was able to stay alive, so she could come back in later. But let's see how much this Rage Tower is going to have an impact on the backside attack here. Honestly, it's looking good there because the Road Champion is so healthy right now. If he does end up losing everything else, if all the Hogs and all the miners go down, the Queen and the Road Champion can finish it on their own, but he has the support of the King and the Grand Warden as well. I think all the Hogs and miners are gone, but it's okay. He's got it. It's a triple. Imperium Titans, which are trailing right now, are gonna pick up a very critical triple right now, but a lot of pressure now over to VN Esporting here, Woody.
Absolutely, and you can see the smile on his face starting to crack through as that 3-star came about. Very happy, pumps the fist, and will be able to march toward the top again. They need a defense, though, against VN Esporting, who have held that percentage lead against them. Good opportunity to claim that driver's position once again. And VN Esporting are just kind of shaking their heads, wondering how they're going to be able to pull this off. The later stages of these wars have seen hit rates just dwindle away. 3 stars very much more likely to come earlier on. And so for VN Esporting now needing to put up a 3-star in either their 4th or 5th hit to keep pace against Imperium Titans, that is going to be a demoralizing strike to be sure. We see them looking.
Usually we see the strongest player going in that 4th spot there to try to really put a lot of pressure on. And so we have Imran is currently perfect on the Swiss stages right now. He's 3 out of 3 triples from their previous wars, and he's going to be playing in that 4th spot, that critical 4th spot that a lot of time decides these wars. But he will be pushing in with another attempt at a Queen Charge LaLo. But Woody, this one has a lot of lightning as well, so I feel like he needs to. Where would we use lightning? 6 lightning is enough to take out either the Monolith, an Expo, or a Scatter Shot, or a combination of them.
Yeah, you can grab an Expo and a Scatter Shot combined. You might even choose to do that while one of those heroes is wandering right over on top of it. I guess he hasn't done that yet, and so it makes me more inclined to think that he's going to fire it away at the Scatter Shot. But he could just be holding on to those spells, waiting to see where he needs the most. Nope. As we see right there, it's going to be the Monolith after all. Pops that invisibility, and that'll give an easy inroad for the Queen here. She'll deal with some additional buildings along the X side before she retargets onto the Town Hall. That might get her wandered a little bit closer to the Town Hall, so she might wind up taking some poison damage here. But with only really 2 multi-target Infernos firing away at her alongside that Eagle, she should stay pretty healthy through this early stage.
Yes, and then a Hog Rider trying to get the CC pull, doesn't quite get it there. The Hog wasn't able to get far enough into the base. A little bit of a misjudgment there, but over the right side, the King, the Road Champion, will start to collapse into that right side compartment, finding some Teslas, finding some ground Skellies. That's going to slow them down significantly over there. Doesn't have any Valkyries or any Electro Titans to help him burn through those quicker, but he does his best to freeze into it. The King surges around. He has his Phoenix to pick him right back up there and work on the Road Champion with some support of a Headhunter, and he's able to clear that compartment while at the same time managing the Queen at the bottom here, able to push her way through the multi-infernos and take the defensive CC down and manage LaLo. There's a lot of multitasking going on right now. His attention is split 3 ways on 3 different critical portions of this attack here, Woody.
Multi-target Inferno, the last big threat in the core of this base. It is firing away at like 5 different targets right now. It's got those balloons in a lock, but with the Eternal Tome protecting that Stone Slammer at maximum range now, it'll float over into that left side compartment where the Scatter Shot's going to cause it no problems whatsoever. Beautiful freeze. He's going to keep everything out of commission except for that Tesla and a couple more point defenses on the backside. Big smile from Imran as the 3-star is all but guaranteed. The last remaining balloons floating on over, and a full health Archer Queen nearly full health Grand Warden ready to finish this off. This base has been absolutely crushed and will keep VN Esporting in the lead after all. 2 4-star strikes back, or 3-star strikes. Wow, a 4-star strike. Can you imagine that one, Eric?
That'd be impressive.
2 3-star strikes back to back from Imperium Titans, and VN Esporting here will keep them on an even point, and it's all going to come down to these last 2 attacks. Big pressure now for Imperium Titans to get that 3rd star to make sure that VN Esporting will have to do the same on their final hit. If Imperium Titans come up short, they are going to need not just a solid 2-star defense, but to really push that percentage down on VN Esporting side. Not the sort of thing that you would want to have to hope for or even expect against such a stellar squad primed for advancement out of the Swiss stage. Whichever team does better in the next attack will move on, Eric.
Absolutely, and you see Imran is all smiles there. He knows what he's done, and that sustains his perfect hit rate on the day here. So, and on the entire Swiss stages, that is 4 out of 4 triples as he continues to perform at the highest level, and he's suitable for that 4th position there. We say the 4th position is very, very important, but now it puts a lot of pressure onto the final closers. So let's see what they can do here as we see Uryum coming in for Imperium Titans, and we'll see if he can make it happen as he begins with, it looks like a blimp. He's in he's an Ascendant blimp protected by a Warden ability, and I assume he's got super archers inside. He's got enough invisibility to rage, and he's gonna drop right all the way in at the Town Hall and go after the Town Hall, the Inferno. He's gonna get the CC. He's got the Lava Hound that's just chilling in there, but it is always a big risk if you're going to invest your Warden to deliver that blimp to go in after that big value, because now he's gonna have to do the rest of the attack here with no Warden support. So we'll see how he handles it, but I do like the extra bonus that he not only protected the blimp to go in, but he was able to protect some troops to go in after that defensive queen. So he got her out of the way nice and early and maximized the value of that Warden ability while he invested it into the blimp.
Gets the pull outside as well, and that Lava Hound's going to cause no problems at all. Even the pumps are going to just evaporate to that Electro Titan zapping her way through. There's going to be even more of that action coming in next with 2 Lava Hounds and 24 balloons ready to support this push. The King's charging in now and will be soaking shots from this Monolith to keep that Queen alive and ready to fire away at these last remaining targets. Phoenix is going to pick him up just for another few more shots, but that compartment is now toasted, and it's all up to this main army getting ready to launch off. I'm guessing that they're going to be coming in from that bottom side, trying to deal with that scatter shot nice and early on. The top one has been finally finished off now by that Royal Champion. She'll get a few more buildings along the upper edge, but with her ability now spent, that is going to be the end of it. No, he's going to be coming in from the right side there, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, well, and if he comes in for the right side, then he's able to get the cross-tanking for the Royal Champion to keep her alive for a bit longer. But he does have the defensive king right there. He's got a couple of headhunters on standby. He'll send them in now. They meet some traps, some ground skellies, and some giant bombs go off. But they do arrive into the defensive king, and they'll give a chance for his Royal Champion to keep on moving. He still has his queen on the other side of the base. There's an Electro Titan that is working with the queen over there. He'll freeze up the scatter shot. He's got it. He's got it. That's such a critical triple right there. I mean, he looks comfortable. He looks ready to go there. He's got the triple, and Imperium Titans will put the pressure over to the final attacker. We have to remember, they're still trailing in this war. And if we see Imperium Titans end up with a defense here, they can win and overcome that deficit. But VN Esporting has a lot of pressure on their final attack with a 6-building lead if they're able to secure the triple on this next attack. But Woody, look at this. The other wars that are going on right now, we're still seeing all defenses between Chasmac, EA, and Badzinger. We're seeing only 1 triple come out of Chasmac G.S. versus Inquisition. They're all going to their final exchange as well. And it looks like it's all very, very close. This entire bracket is going to come down to the wire.
A 1 building advantage for Chasmac EA over Badzinger. Just that single tiny percentage giving them the lead there. Inquisition with that full star advantage is going to give Chasmac GS a bit more of difficulty. But man, I got to say, I thought it was hilarious that Ariam has got his whole player camera like framed around just like the relaxed position that he has in this match. He has scored 3-star after 3-star. And that is just exactly what Empyrean Titans need right now. Looking so chill as he does it, too. They've done all they can, and with 13 stars, that was the standard that I had set and that I expected at the beginning of this match. That was going to be necessary to claim a win, but will it indeed be enough? VN Esporting might get 13 stars of their own, and with that percentage advantage on their favor, the win could still yet swing back to them. It's going to be all up to Alec, the former MS Esports player himself, trying to twist the knife into that opposing team now as he sends in a big early charge against that Eagle artillery. Yeti is going to be hopping out and getting a big swing against that enemy Archer Queen. Oh, she hasn't gone down though, Eric.
Okay, that's okay. He got distracted a little bit there. He got everything else in the compartment cleared. He can go take her out there with a single strike. He can manage that, but yeah, going against his former teammate over on defense, Kingsman gonna try to hold here as this Queen takes out the defensive CC. Now you've got the primary functions of the blimp there. We always say it when you're gonna use a blimp, you want to take out a major target right there. He did that. He got the funnel and he got the CC pull. And now as the Queen makes her way forward, she has no damage on her flank coming in from that compartment, so she can walk in there. She can take that final strike at the defensive Queen, and if he can get a wall break into this multi-inferno, then with the King cutting her off on the top side, then he's in a prime position. The wall break is easily successful right there, and the funnel looks clean to drive this Queen into the core of the base. This is a very, very strong start, and is looking really good here for VN Esporting.
A do or die situation for Alec to finish off strong for the win, or to let everything slip away in the last moments. He is not going to give up without a fight and looks very strong with this initial charge on the bottom side. Balloons are spread excellently, getting maximum value from the range of that Grand Warden's Eternal Tome. As soon as he hovers over, expect to see that popped and protecting them from that big Town Hall Giga Poison. Here we go, Eric. 1 minute remains. Get those spells dropped in. Rage right over the Town Hall and march through the base, or find nothing left but sadness and disgrace.
Oh, he ended up losing a lot of balloons there at the Town Hall. This multi-inferno on the backside is going to invest his final freeze. He's got a Royal Champion. The Royal Champion was able to get the assistance of the Headhunter through the ward ability, but she's all the stands as he pushes through the multi. This is close, but the single Inferno stays standing as well. He loses the ward. The Queen is still moving. He knows it. He knows it. He's calling it. I don't think he's gonna make it. The Diggy. No, the Diggy's not able to get through the single. His only chance to recover that was if the Diggy got the stun onto the single Inferno, and you can see he is visibly upset there. It is going to be a win for his former team, and Imperium Titans will be claiming that playoffs position, and VN Esporting will have to stay in the hunt as they move into the 2-2 bracket and face elimination there, trying to compete for one of those final positions. But there we go, 91%, not enough for Alec to pull through on this one, Woody.
That is just heart-rending, Eric. A very, very tight war and well fought by all competitors. But there can be only one winner. Empyrean Titans advancing with that golden ticket opportunity now. 13 stars and 97% average destruction, trouncing VN Esporting, who came ever so close to clipping that win away, but 9% short on that last strike. It was a burn, baby burn scenario with that Inferno Tower heating up the interior of that base and nothing able to get through it. Congratulations to Empyrean Titans. They will be in a clear spot, but have no fear to the fans of VN Esporting. They have now a 2-2 record and can still advance with a win in the last round.
That was really, really crazy because that whole war came down to just the smallest little tiny mistakes there. That last attack, I'm pretty sure it would have gone through if he could have covered just a few more balloons with that warded ability. But having a couple of them that were sitting just outside of that warded ability and getting struck by the town hall, sitting inside of the poison without any protection, that ultimately cost him. He just needed a sliver of extra support there for that Roar champion to push through. And that was extremely, extremely close there, but I mean, they make it through. I mean, Imperial Titan had a couple attacks there that were extremely close as well, like we saw with Synthé with this invisibility off by like the slightest amount there, the half a tile, and that's how close these wars come down to. It's insane that they are decided by like inches, like literally like a millimeter there with a couple of blues sitting just on the verge of that ward ability or an invisibility spell, just slightly overlapping by the smallest amount. And that's what ultimately decides it and sends a team into the playoffs here, Woody.
Hey, it's funny you say it's by inches because as we saw yesterday, I'm not sure if this actually got out onto production or not, but we saw Klaus measuring his device with literally a ruler to try to see whether or not the tile range for some of these defenses was going to be enough. I know you can also tap on the defenses to see their range, but when you've got just that picture perfect measurement to try to get those final shots in, it matters the most. So let's take a look at the results from the other matches now. Difficult start here for Chasmac as both of their teams have dropped. Chasmac EA falling to Badzinger on a 10 to 11 star score line right there. Just heavily defensive matches.
Wow.
On both of these counts. Inquisition taking the winning on the same score line here, with Chasmac not able to put up a 3-star in either of those encounters.
Yeah, it just shows you that these teams came prepared for the later stages, and the defense is holding very strong. That's pretty impressive to hold these teams back on defense, and they're both able to do on both sides of that war. I'd be curious to see what the bases look like over there, but I mean, if they're holding, they may end up having a chance to run them again over here. I mean, maybe switch around the traps. I don't know, or maybe they have new bases. I guess we'll find out as we get ready for our next war. It looks like we're a minute and a half out. We're going to be moving into. We're going to give these teams a little bit of a break there before they go into their 2 and 2 bracket, and we're going to move down into 1 and 2 bracket, and we're going to see the impressive BLD City, an underdog team that has been performing pretty well. They got wrecked by Chasmac G.S, but their other wars, they put up some impressive stars, and they're holding strong in that lower bracket there, and we'll see how they stand up to a seasoned ITP team who's been extremely impressive. A lot of well-known players over there, and I'm kind of curious. I think BLD is the underdog. That's the team we had never really heard of. They come out of here, and that's what's always so impressive with these tournaments is we see people and teams coming out into the competitive play here. Actually, wait a second, there are some names I recognize over there. Hold on, maybe there's more of this team than I thought.
Yeah, BLD City was a squad that was certainly standing out. Whenever we showed that scoreboard, it was always looking like they had really strong offense with relatively high stars. And some of these names, you're right, are kind of sticking out. I'll read them off first. They are Mohammed, Ahmed, Yunis, Easy, and Sadami. But they are going up against another well-known team here, ITP Team. Eric, they've got Marrawi, Zubaidi, Latif, Lord, and Black facing off against them.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure Marrawi is at a perfect hit rate right now. I'd have to check the boards there to find out exactly what his hit rate is, but I'm pretty sure, or maybe it's Latif. Maybe it's both of them. I don't know. Let's dive in. Here we go. ITP is the team that would be the one to beat here, but BLD, the underdogs, are going to try to get some defenses and going to try to take down the more well-known team. But we'll see what happens here as we begin with Lord sending in a queen charge into LaLo, and he's going right after the town hall here. Now look at the opposite side of the base. Look at the area around the rage towers. This area that the queen charge is moving into is relatively light for the LaLo portion of the attack there, but the other half, the path that the LaLo's gonna have to go through is gonna have to power through multiple raged up multi-infernos, and that is going to be a very, very dangerous area of the base there, and I'm very curious to see what his plan is for me.
Now, unlike the teams that we just saw in the upper bracket that had a 2-1 record, these squads have a 1-win, 2-loss record. That means that they need to win here and now in order to just have a chance to advance whereas a loss is actually elimination. One of these teams will be finished after the end of this war, whereas one of them will have to face off against a team that has a 2-2 record from the upper side. It's going to be that Queen Charge going into the center right now with that Grand Warden to support, getting the CC pull and slowing down those Rocket Loons. Thank goodness she can shut them down nice and early. Monolith is firing away at her, but with a little bit of Poison Spell support, she should be able to take out this Lava Hound and the pups. Not too much trouble at all, Eric.
Okay, but the difficulty here now is going to be the wall breaks. You can see what he's doing now. You can see that if he can get his queen into that centered multi-inferno compartment, if he can get the dual wall break through the CC and then through to that inferno compartment, he can reach everything. That's why he's investing the warden into it. That's why he's investing this queen charge to try to take out that threatening area. So he's going to get the axes. Look at that. He opens it all up there. He tags out the defensive row champion, but look at time as well. Time is ticking away. The queen! Where's she going? What is she throwing so hard here?
Very, very unfortunate swap out for the queen. When you have so much invested into the wall break to go deep into the interior, you need to take out those crucial defenses. And even seeing a Tesla farm pop up in the middle, that suggests to me that Lord is going to be in a lot of trouble here. I might have even wanted to try to save that Eternal Tome for a little bit later in the strike, because those balloons are going to go down without even being able to take out that multi-target Inferno. The core of this base is just a diamond in the center, and unable to crack it. Lord is going to be just throwing his troops against the rest of the exterior now, hoping that he can get a bit more percentage in. With only 78% so far, Lord is really going to be coming up short. That middle of the base was just impossible to penetrate for that queen. And with those big key defenses still up, we are going to see a 2-star to start with here now for ITP Team. In the 80% now, creeping upward toward 86% possibly to finish things off.
Yeah, you think you have everything accounted for, and then a random wall gets hit by the Flame Flinger and opens up a side path for the queen, diverting her out of the base there. That's what opened up that wall. It wasn't like a messed up wall breaker. Wall breakers were on point. The queen had her path into the core of the base there, but the log launcher was what opened up the path to lead her out the side of the base there. That log launcher, or the Flame Flinger, didn't open up the walls out there, then he easily would have been able to path into the core of the base there. I mean, it still would have been a very difficult core to pass through, but he definitely would have had a lot better chance. But moving over to the other side, we see our first debut of BLD City in this elimination match as he sends in 7 Electro Titans. 7 Electro Titans! No healers in this one, as he sends in a Super Archer Blimp to begin it here, Woody.
And that Eternal Tome popped nice and early to keep that blimp safe, even though it's spinning around in the tornado trap and has a Seeking Air Mine on it. I don't know. Can it get to the intended target?
I mean, he got a decent amount through the base there. He'll go invisible. He'll just have to work with what he got. I think he would have wanted to go one tile or one compartment deeper and land into the single Inferno compartment. But we'll see what he can get out of here. He can at least reach the scatter shots. He can reach the Infernos. He can get that Rage Tower at least out of the way here. He'll get some damage onto the Monolith on the other side there. I don't think he'll get enough to take it down. But if he can continue to get the value here, get the scatter shots out of the way, and get all these Infernos gone, actually, that actually might work out. I think he got enough value out of the Super Archer Bomb. He'll leave up the defensive queen and the world champion. They're weakened, and a handful of the defenses around the edge are weakened as well. So he can now broadside this base with mass Electro Titans and see what kind of carnage they can cause here, attacking both sides of the base simultaneously.
My goodness, 7 Electro Titans is a very fearsome army. But is this damage going to be concentrated enough where he needs it most to get the victory here? He has just walloped those left and right interior compartments, but the top side is that key crucial target where that Town Hall still stays standing. He's got to get all the way to the very end if he wants to finish it off. He's holding on to these hero abilities to make sure that he's got a late game swap if he needs to use it for any traps that wind up springing up. He probably wants to hold on to one of those for that Monolith as well, which is just looming large at the end. Forced to use that queen ability against a cannon that was fired away at her now, and he is running really low on offensive firepower. I don't even think he's going to get the Town Hall, Eric.
I mean, he might. He's got the King under Phoenix there. There's still a handful of Electro Titans. They're all going to lock onto it now. The Queen's working on the Monolith.
Okay.
The Dicky that came off with the World Champion is passed over to the Queen's target. She gets the stun. She's going to go get that. Oh, the Dicky does not get the stun on the Town Hall, but does secure it. I don't think he has enough punch to get the rest of the base out there. He definitely needed that World Champion to survive, but she was deployed, I feel like, a bit early. And when she was deployed early, she ended up passing up everybody else, and she got targeted. She took a lot of damage from that defensive King, and she had a ground expo on her. So she wasn't there to provide the far back-end support there where she was definitely needed. I think he was actually going to be able to triple that if he just delayed his World Champion a bit. So a solid attempt there. It's gonna be a miss here to open up the war here for BLD City.
Well, the lights have fallen on Ahmed. He now knows that with an 85% 2-star, he has just kept his team 1% behind where ITP set the bar earlier on. It is going to be a very close finish there that I was very worried might have turned into a 1-star, but he had enough force with those Electro Titans to finish all the way through. We'll get a chance to zoom in on some of these players and see as they are preparing for their next attacks what they are going to be looking at. All smiles from some of them, still looking very confident over there on the BLD City side of things. You saw the army that Latif had cooked up as well on his device. I like the couch that Zubaidi's brought there. That looks very comfy.
Yes, and I noticed
good posture.
I saw on Latif's Twitter that he is perfect on the initial stages of the tournament here. So he is likely to go next here. If he's flashing a screen at us, then he's getting ready to go in for the next attack here for ITP. And if he can continue his streak here, then he will give his team a solid chance of taking this win, but we'll see what he does here. And it kind of throws me off here when I see so many people like laying back and comfortable, because like I got to be sitting up straight. I got to have like my iPad and like a mount and everything. Like if I'm like leaning back, I'm like, I am not in the right position to do a war attack, and especially in this high profile. But it is going to be Latif. He's going to be sending in a zap into Queen charge in LaLo. So if he's going to use this attack here, then I would assume he's going after the Monolith. That's exactly what he's going after, getting that visibility tower out of the way, spreading out the lightning to also hit out that sweeper. You need 2 lightning to hit a sweeper. You need 6 to take out a Monolith, and you only need 4 to take out that invisibility tower. But with the invisibility tower out of the way, he'll go ahead and blimp the town hall early, and with all that damage removed on the inside, the Queen can go either direction around the symmetrical base, and she's not going to have a ton of damage on her flank as long as she ducks in there and is able to pick off that Expo. But the Expo is the only target in that area that she actually has to reach into. So if he sets the funnel up ahead, the wall break went off on the inside in an awkward wall. So we'll have to see if he passes it. It's going to be critically important for this Queen charge winning.
Yeah, Sneaky Goblin's so efficient at taking down that Town Hall. Latif got exactly what he was looking for with that early strike here. Queen will continue along the bottom edge of the base with a little bit of Coconut Loon support to try to find any seeking air mines. Very well positioned here, although going down to the air defense is a little bit less than ideal timing here. First minute is up now, though, and he is ready to set up for the LaLo along this bottom right side. It looks like he's going to get a lot of work done on the interior here with the Queen charging deeper on in now. Finds that enemy Queen with a rage spell on her own. She'll be able to pop down that other side. Ooh, Rocket Loon's coming out of that CC. Got to be careful with those. Lots of big damage, but the Queen has relocked onto them. Takes them out without any problem. Good timing on that poison spell as well. And Latif is looking clean to keep this 3-star rate up. But does he have the pacing? Needs to go fast now. Half of the time is now expired. And he gets an early Eternal Tome now to protect the entry point for these balloons. They have got a hot drop with lots of multi-target Inferno damage getting dished out against them. Scatter shot right behind as well.
Yes, but he was able to get through the multi-inferno before the rage tower was able to boost his damage there while he still had that wardability active. He quickly gets inside the minimum range of the scatter shot, but he is taking a lot of casualties up there, and his Queen is going to have to pick up the slack there. She has a wall break through the core of the base. She has her ability intact here, but also he has his World Champion with the Queen with a position to move into the tanking of these last couple defenses that can keep the World Champion safe. She has her ability. I think he's got it under control. He still has plenty of cleanup. There's her ability. And the Queen will continue to take that Expo all the way until the end. The World Champion comes right back around into cleanup. And Latif continues his 3-star streak and will put ITP into the lead here. They went in this attack one building ahead. And now they could potentially go up on stars as well if they can get a defense here, but we'll see what BLD City has as a response on the other side.
Yeah, that is a fearsome strike there by Latif, keeping that 3-star rate up into the heavens. Congratulations there on a very well-planned and executed attack. Had plenty of cleanup left over and no worries at all on time. Latif certainly a name to be remembered from the late stages here of this Swiss round for the Queso Cup as one of the stronger strikers. If that team does wind up winning, expect to see him again in a crucial position, trying to keep his team alive in that 3-2 targeting to be able to advance on in the Swiss stage. So right now, both of these teams, remember, are at that 1-2 mark. It's going to be up to the other side to respond back now. BLD City having to come back in and try to put the first 3-star on the board. We saw lots of 3-star strikes from them in previous wars. Do we expect to see this to be a similarly high star war in the 13, maybe even 14-star range? Or do you think that given the 2 stars earlier on that this is more likely to be a low hit rate war?
I have no idea. This team is a complete wild card here, which is why I wanted to see this war. We saw what they were able to do as they played through their early parts of the Swiss stages, but I've never really seen this team in action. While I do recognize players like EZ on there, some of these other players are unknown to me, but this one is actually going to be breaking out a log launcher kill squad with a queen charge and a recall. Notice how he only deploys 4 healers with this queen charge. He's going to need a freeze onto the town hall. He's probably going to want to rage up the queen here and make sure she secures that town hall, but he needs to make sure that town hall does not go invisible. So the moment he takes his strike there, he goes ahead and sends the ground skellies may distract him. He's gonna have to burn another freeze. He has to burn another freeze. He doesn't have a choice. He needs to get through the ground skellies, stop that invisibility tower from triggering. He's able to adapt, and now he claims whatever he has within reach of the queen there while she still has the rage active, and then recalls her out of there. Now we can put her on the other side of the base and he can deploy his last healer, but at the same time he needs to have the queen to work with the kill squad as they come in from the other side, and he'll want to push a log launcher with the ward and the king deep into the core of this base and try to trim out those internal targets.
Oh, it's another very hot drop for that Archer Queen, though. She's getting awfully low. Might be forced to pop that ability as well. Is he going to top her back off? Rage is out, and there is going to be no need for the ability quite yet. Eunice is just giving us heart palpitations, wondering if he's going to save her or not. But the moment-perfect drop there will give her a bit of a relief, breathing a sigh as she moves on into the right side compartment. Now we'll get a chance to shoot away at that enemy Royal Champion as well. Enemy Queen still has a few more hit points and could cause problems for a LaLo raid, so I'm wondering how he's going to take her out.
Yeah, she's a low HP. He's got 2 headhunters, though. He's got them on standby here. They're ready to go. He just needs to get the queen to clear out that right side compartment. He would have preferred that his Royal Champion was able to power through the defensive queen and get that multi in front of down. That would have been a much stronger setup. So it's not going to be an easy push here. The queen, honestly, she's looking pretty solid. She still has her ability intact there. She could probably handle that monolith once she generates her archers and is able to get some distraction. So just go ahead and start in that LaLo on the other side. And now the question is, do we use the rage on the queen, or she's taking fire early, but do we use the rage on the queen or do we use it on the LaLo here? And that's going to be a decision that he has to make on the fly. He rages the LaLo and lets the queen ability carry him through the other side. He's got all those archers generated, and they're going to give the distraction for the monolith. He gets the expo down. He'll take the monolith down. He takes the scatter shot down, and Eunice just needs to finish it up in time here, Woody.
20 seconds left. He has got a little bit of an awkward spread here now where the queen is not going to be able to get her way through unless she can crack down through some walls. That's plenty of damage, but is it going to be concentrated where he needs it most? Looks unlikely. Finishes off all the defenses here except for just 2 along the top side, but that is not going to be quick enough. And Eunice, with a beautifully planned attack and some expert recall deployments, just did not leave himself enough time to finish off the 3rd star on the other side. 5% short at that 90 25% mark now. BLD City are going to be falling behind now by 6 total buildings, and that full and complete star missing from their side of the scoreboard.
All right, I'm impressed with him so far. These have been some sound attacks there. We saw that very interesting mass Electro Titan attack there in the opening. Maybe could have been cleaned up a little bit there. This one, I didn't see any critical mistakes there. He ran into some traps, he ran into some heavy damage onto that queen and forced some spells. But overall, he managed it very, very well. I think maybe the only thing he could have done there is maybe he was able to slip in some headhunters to go after the defensive queen to keep his road champion up. I think that might have been the difference, but we're not going to be able to find out because now we have Zubadi coming in from the other side. It is going to be a Super Wizard Bomb or Blizzard as he sends in that blimp carrying Super Wizards to drop right into the channel, able to freeze up the sweeper to stop it from knocking him back, and he's going after both of the scatter shots here that are clumped together and going to claim that Rage Tower as well. If he can actually take the strikes at the wall, he would be able to chain off of the wall and hit the defensive queen if he's able to get them to attack that wall and head that direction. So I think they're going to leave it though. They're going to walk all the way to the end of that channel and they're going to be taken down. But you know what? He got all of his primary targets there, Woody. He even got the CC pull because they path all the way to the top. So now he can fight it off in safety and he can push his queen towards that town hall. And if she takes it down, he's in a very strong position.
Yeah, those Super Wizards, unfortunately, just wandering even half a tile outside of that invisibility spell at the end there. Could have gotten a bit more value zapping into that top side, but as you mentioned, got all the key targets down that he needed to. Super Minions trying to deny this Archer Queen, going to get a nice few shots off against her, and because there's no healers, that damage will be able to stick. Zubaidi is going to add on that Barbarian King along the top side and is looking to consolidate the gains that ITP Team has made with that 3-star that they just scored. Can they get another now? Top side is going to be another early strike here for the Archer Queen, trying to get that Town Hall down so that he can focus entirely on cleanup toward the other side. Ice Golem's going to be able to pop and freeze all the defenses in this upper category, and with that Archer Queen ability, shouldn't have any more difficulty taking down the Town Hall. There it is, pops the Royal Cloak, and she will be able to finish it off. Refocuses attention now down to the bottom side where Archer Queen is going to start firing away at the lava loons. He's got that freeze out, but what is he going to do about that Queen, Eric?
He's got the headhunters down. They're working on the king right now. They power through the king. They get onto the queen. They take her down. But now he's going to have to get some support all the way to the backside Royal Champion. So she stands on the other side of the base. He's got his Royal Champion moving through. He still has a ward ability on standby. His hounds are crossing to the far right side of the base, but they instantly get evaporated as he ends up popping. But with the warden ability protecting his Royal Champion, he does have an answer for that defensive Royal Champion. He's able to power through, but there's still a lot of incoming damage, and he's not out of this yet, Woody.
Yeah, certainly is not. Those loons stacked up all in one position are not going to be happy when they find a wizard tower on the other side of the base. It's starting to fire away at them now, and he's doing his best to distract just with that sneaky goblin. Might have bought himself a little bit of time here. The balloons do path over the wizard tower, finish it off, but at what cost? The Grand Warden is down, and with very little support behind them, it looks like that last interior compartment next to the town hall is going to be the final defense for BLD City. This is not going to be the 3-star that Zubaidi was hoping for, but with a 2-star 95%, he will keep the pacing up here for his squad. Still a star ahead, and with a percentage not to be sneezed at. Look, BLD City, we're behind in percentage going into this one, so as long as we still see these high 90% strikes coming in, it's going to maintain the lead, at the very least, for ITP Team.
I think they'll maintain the lead either way. That 95 is extremely significant right now because they actually went into that exchange with a 6 building advantage. So if they left 5 on the board there, even if BLD City triples right now, we'll still see a 1 building advantage into ITP Team's favor. So this war is extremely close, but it's a lot of pressure here for the third attacker to be able to tie up the war. They need to tie it up as soon as possible and get back in this. So we need to see some strong push here out of their either next exchange or the one after that. And we'll see what they can do here. But a lot of pressure building here as they trail, and it's going to be another attempt at a super archer bomb. But this one is not going to be with mass Electro Titans. It's going to be what is more typical of this current meta and going in with a LaLo to follow it up. But he needs to get this blimp delivered all the way to the core of the base there. He invests a Lava Hound. He invests a Warden. Wait, is he trying to get the Lava Hound to cross through? Okay, I'm not sure what he's doing there, but he's going to actually put a lot of his LaLo in early, and he can protect not only it, but also the blimp, and he can try to get it all down at once. I want to see some headhunters in as well, but that's not going to be possible because the King's right there. He still attempts it, though. I wonder if he can get some headhunters to go in and take out a defensive hero, and we'll see how much this blimp can gather in the core of the base.
Eternal Tone right as that blimp is starting to path over, and that means it is going to go far. Doesn't catch any tornadoes on the other side, and wow, look how far it is going. Having to zoom back out to see all the targets that we're going to get on the inside there. Super archers are firing away. They should be able to get that Town Hall down. Was he, yeah, the timing looks like it was good enough there on those invisibility spells to keep them alive. CC's can be pumping out and is going to get a few more shots out there with an Inferno Dragon on the inside. In fact, going to be floating over toward those lava pups now. Sadami has done a big chunk out of the top and the core of this base, but still kind of a line going down horizontally that he's going to have to deal with. A little bit of an awkward shape of this base now to have to deal with. I'm really curious to see what he makes of the second stage of this attack, because he's going to have to split up his forces at one point anyways. There's not enough time to just go all the way through.
Yeah, but now the difficulty is he's got battle builders working in the areas on the right and left side, but the battle builders themselves cannot reach the scatter shots. The scatter shots are both very, very close to going down, but very close to going down doesn't decrease their damage output in the slightest. So that's a big miss right there that he ended up having the scatter shot stay standing. Also, like you said, the single Inferno is still causing a connection from the right side of the base to the left side of the base, which is, I guess you could path through there, because you did see as that blimp sailed through, it pulled a barrage of red air bombs and gives him a solid chance of being able to get through. But his wall break dies to the poison tower, and that's going to kill his transition into the scatter shot, and that scatter shot is going to be ripping through him, but he's not giving up. He sends in the LaLo from the left side, where champion will support. He has 3 headhunters, but he has no Warden and no spell support. So from here, he's just coasting. We'll see what he does with the headhunters, and we'll see what the heroes can do, but his work is cut out for him here, Woody.
Look, when you get your second star with only 38 seconds left, I don't know how you can even possibly hope to get the third one. Sadami has just had a very good plan, but I think that the execution, I mean, I don't know whether it's to blame the plan or the execution at all, to be honest, but there seemed to be something wrong with the shaping of this base as it remained. Either he needed to take down that single target Inferno or have an easier time cracking into it, because there's like still multiple patches all around this base. I think BLD City have got their work cut out for them following that 2-star 81% now from Sadami. With ITP Team now still firmly in the lead, and you made a good point there. With ITP Team up the star and so far ahead on percentage, getting a 2-star 95% was essentially the same thing as as getting a 3-star, because they would be ahead either way. You know, they could have pushed their lead even further, but ITP Team looking very confidently in the lead now as we move into the later stage of this war now with only 2 attacks left for either team. It is going to be really an uphill struggle for BLD City to try to get back into this one. We have seen comebacks happen before, though, and hey, just yesterday we were saying, man, I can't remember which war it was, but we were... Yeah, it was Inquisition down a star, and with 2 attacks left, needing to get 2 defenses and then to get those 3 stars. They did manage to make it happen, so don't count out BLD City just yet.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Marrawi was sent in the next attack here for ITP Team using some lightning. He invested 7 lightning and a quake to go after the Eagle Artillery. And if he can use that as a funneling point here for his heroes to go in, then he can reduce the damage that they would receive on their flank there. Obviously, the Eagle Artillery is not going to be able to cause any damage, but the Expo, I think, was the more primary target right there, because it takes the damage off of the Queen and makes so that her Unicorn can actually keep up with the damage while at the same time forming the funnel. And anytime you get the Eagle Artillery, if you're already hitting the buildings in the area, might as well throw in 1 extra lightning and finish it off right there. So I mean, that's a strong setup here, but that leaves only 1 freeze, 1 invisibility, and 1 rage for the entire rest of the base. He even used one of the spells on a skeleton spell to try to keep the Monolith under control. And it was turned onto the CC troops there, but with the CC troops coming out of the log launcher, he has some Yetis to go in there and provide some extra tanking and keep that Monolith under control until the Queen finishes fighting off the defensive CC.
Yeah, Yetis are just so excellent at getting that almost guaranteed damage. They're relatively tanky on their own and can get some big shots off, but it is just hard to take down all the Yeti mites before they get their damage in. It's a very reliable CC troop to include whenever you've got a siege machine going deep into the base. Town Hall yet does not go down, but the Archer Queen should be able to finish it off. Makes it a little bit awkward for the timing of that Giga Poison, though, especially if she gets rotated on in there with those archers. They are just going to just be desiccated by the remaining poison spell there. She is doing her best to hold on, but with the loss of that unicorn as well, that is going to be a queen down for Marrawi. He's going to send in the balloons now with that Eternal Tome. Finally gets a Lava Hound added over onto the top side now. He's got these troops boosted up with that potion, and so he has got them at max despite maybe not having them maxed out himself, but he is going to be going full force into the final compartment now on the bottom left side with a lot of balloons still standing. It's just that multi-target Inferno that I'm worried about because there's no spells to help keep these balloons up.
Yeah, multi and the Teslas increasing the damage output in the area significantly. If he can mow down the most of it and keep the balloons to control the Warden's targeting, he goes to the Inferno. He steps his way in. There we go. Locks on. Warden gets the assist. He takes it down. He can reach the final Teslas with the Warden. And Woody's got it. He's got the triple. And ITP gets another one on the board.
Locked and loaded. Marrawi fires away and will keep that 3-star streak going. ITP Team march victoriously toward the top, and with 10 stars in their first 4 attacks, they have got that 50% hit rate and just got a terrifying spot now for BLD City, who are going to need some incredible defense on their final 5th base, as well as back-to-back triples just to hold a possibility of advancement on a percentage tie. That looks very unlikely right now, and I think that all the odds makers at home are going to be saying ITP Team are going to be very tough to beat at this point. Congratulations there to Marrawi. Excellently planned attack, and they should be able to finish this one up with their 5th strike. No questions asked.
Yeah, and with the 4th attack here coming up from BLD City, I would like to see if they can get this triple. I mean, I always say you put your 4th player, you put your best player in your 4th position, and I feel like that might be easy on this team. Like I said, he's one of the more well-known players on this team, and he could definitely come out here and get it done. So I'm looking forward to see what he does. We have 2 attacks with them, and they, like you said, they have to go perfect for the rest of the war here. They cannot afford any misses with a deficit, and it is going to be easy playing in that number 4 spot. The most well-known player on this team going to be sending in the Super Witches with the Lightning. He has the Warden Walk, going to connect to the area that was zapped out. Looks like he got out a Scatter Shot and an Expo. And if he's going to go across to the Town Hall, then he has 2 different options. He can go to the north and make the early approach, or he could go for the arguably stronger approach and go through the Eagle Artillery and risk it all, because I mean, at this point you have to triple. You like a 1-star risk is perfectly acceptable at this point, because you triple and you have a chance to win. If you don't, you're definitely not going to make it through. So takes the risk and comes in through the Eagle Artillery, and here we go. The Super Witches march into the base.
Well, is he going to make it look easy, or is it going to be falling flat with this 4th strike? You've so often called out how these teams know that this is the crucial spot that they need to put their best players in order to keep that momentum going into the very end. Knowing that he has got such a risky entry, he kind of has a little bit less fear, I would guess, because he knows that it's either going to be that 3-star or it's just going to fall completely on deaf ears for all the fans out there watching right now. It doesn't matter if he gets a high percentage 2-star. It's either 3 stars or nothing now. good concentrated balloon force to support these heroes and the rest of the super witches on the inside of the base, who are now hopping over those walls. They're going to face a lot of damage coming in from that town hall, but thanks to the big boys soaking most of it, they should be quite safe on the other side. Still needs to keep out of that Giga Poison, though. It can really do a lot of hard work to those super witches, who are being healed up, admittedly, but there's very little spell support now. None, in fact, to help them back on the other side of this strike. Tornado Trap does catch only just one balloon, so that's good news for EZ, but can he make it out of this bottom side and still deal with that top compartment, holding on to another multi-inferno and a royal champion? Looks like he has just lost his footing and won't be able to do it, Eric.
Yeah, that top compartment attacking him over the wall there. He ended up having his Warden wander up there just a little too close to the royal champion, and he ended up having him get locked onto or by her, and he was able, or the defender was able to get the royal champion to take out his Warden, reducing everybody's HP by a bit. But yeah, super witches are pretty solid at going past the town hall and avoiding the poison because of their long range and slow movement speed. They typically have the healers sit back, but when you're taking that much crossfire damage, if you don't keep the healers that you have remaining under a rage, then you start to get overwhelmed and you start to lose troops. And ultimately, he had to have his troops arrive in the area and then survive and tank a lot of the defenses to have a chance to have the royal champion to sweep through and clear out everything that they couldn't reach. And the royal champion was in charge of two different compartments. She had to clear that bottom left and the top compartment as well. So she needed to survive. She needed to power through that. He needed to have some troops to make it through that area. But this puts them in a very tough position because ITP Team can win it with a 2-star right now. They can go for the safe 2-star. They don't have to take any risk on this one here. They can just lock it in and move to the 2-and-2 stages and continue their chances at to make it into the playoffs there. They can win their next one as well. So do you take any risk here, or do you go into this thinking that person would have tripled and then you have to have a potentially risky plan at on stam? I don't know. I feel like you don't
take the victory lap. Take it easy. Take it easy. You've done the hard work already. Yeah, no, we saw in that previous attack a very risky attempt to try to get the 3-star coming in from the opposite side of the base. If I were on ITP Team, I would just say, look, we're going to get the 2 and we are going to walk away with our heads held high. I mean, of course, you can still have a plan that gives the possibility of a 3-star just for the fireworks to be going off. But the goal in mind here is advancement. And in order to advance, all you need here is a 2-star. So just take it. Take it and be happy. Go away. A winner, and then continue to fight in the next stage of this match. This is a do-or-die scenario for these two teams. Whoever loses is going to be eliminated. So with that possibility, you do not want to take any risks whatever. He's going to go for that town hall nice and early. Black gets a good strike into that bottom compartment, and we'll be able to finish it off. All he needs is 2 stars and 50%, and ITP Team will win.
Yes, and with a monster Skelly donut right there, he is able to take out the Monolith, the CC, and he was able to get that Inferno. The spacing was perfect between those buildings. You saw the 6-tile gap between the Inferno and between the Monolith with the CC right in a perfect position to attack all 3 at once, and that's going to make it very, very easy. I think we had a relatively easy path to the Town Hall in the first place, but now she has nothing beyond it that will cause any problems, and with the Flanklinger collapsing on the left side, he's able to catch the majority of the traps over there. It looks like it did take some extra damage there, so it's going to open up. But whatever troops are inside, if he has like the Flanklinger is carrying like a Dragon Rider and some balloons, then he's definitely going to get that scatter shot down and claim the value on that side. At the same time, the King and the Royal Champion coming from the right side. This is looking like he's got it in the bag here. I think he's going for the triple on this one as he pushes his way through and going to try to push his team up to 13 stars, Woody.
That is beautiful. With the 2 stars claimed, ITP Team are moving on. Victory over BLD City, and can Black turn it into an even more impressive finish here with a potential for 13 stars on the board if he can triple now. Only one big multi-target Inferno to give these balloons any problem. One does path into that multi-Inferno compartment, gets those bomb drops, and with the freeze as well, will finish it off. We've still got that Wizard Tower on the far side, but with these balloons relatively spread, that's pretty good news for them, denying some of the incoming splash. He's also got one more freeze to drop on the backside with 2 more loons added on. I'm feeling like he looks pretty confident to get the triple here, Eric. I know he has got a lot to be proud of, and with that celebratory glance toward the camera, knowing that everything he has to do has been done, ITP Black will walk away with that 3-star after all and finish it off strong for his squad. Only one more win separates ITP Team from advancement in the Queso Cup 2023, with the opportunity still yet to claim that golden ticket.
Lingering in that lower bracket and with the threat of elimination, able to pull through. Impressive stuff there. 13 stars, and you're saying 13 stars is enough to win against the best of the best. We saw a lot of teams, like you saw that last round there, where we saw multiple teams only racking in 11 and 10 stars there from the wars that we weren't able to watch that were going on simultaneous. And to pop in and get 13 stars, and those teams coming off of a 10-star performance, like when they arrive into this final bracket for this next match, ITP is going to go into it with their head held high, knowing that their offense is kicking today, and they will have an opponent potentially that is going to be on the downside there, knowing that their offense was struggling today. So it's interesting coming out of that lower bracket with that kind of confidence and that kind of momentum.
Look, it is very exciting to see a 3-star Fiesta from the top level players. I mean, they're coming up against bases that just can't even stand up to their might. But there's something really special about this time in the meta, when we've had a few months with our new town halls to get a sense for what the strongest strategies are, but haven't yet really settled into the optimal modes of attacking, haven't really gotten those buffs yet, higher level troops that are necessary to get the hit rates above 50%. This is a very special time right now to claim a golden ticket, because it says not only did you get mastery of this town hall early on, but you got it in a time when hardly anyone else could even really get their footing. ITP Team doing very, very well on defense with these bases, denying BLD City even yet a single triple so far in this war, and yet with 3 stars to their own name, have done an amazing job and are certainly qualified, in my mind, to advance. But they're going to have a tough time in that 2-2 bracket against one of the teams that previously lost, one of those Chasmac squads, or potentially, I know we also saw, let's see, who were they up against? VN Esporting is going to be joining the 2 Chasmac teams in that 2-2 bracket. Those are very tough teams, and certainly going to show up for a very excellent war later on. But what are we looking at here, Eric?
So I've noticed something with the teams that are falling short here. The attacks that I have seen very, very powerful in the general meta with most, like that's what I've been using in war, and what has proved to be very, very effective is the Super Archer Bomb and Electro Titan attacks in general. But we're noticing, I think everybody should notice that as we have been playing through here, the top teams have bases that can stop these attacks. And so with this one having the Town Hall staying standing at that Super Archer Bomb, not able to claim enough value, these bases are built to stop these key attacks here that have been such a big part of the meta. And the top teams have been sticking to the LaLo attacks and the hog attacks and the hybrid attacks and stuff like that. Some attacks that require a bit more planning, a little bit more creativity, a lot more adaptability. And we see those teams separate themselves out from attack because those strategies are so adaptable to whatever base you're coming at. You see these Electro Titan attacks and the Super Archer attacks falling short when people try to stick with the meta, because the base building is just on another level from the high-end teams, and it really separates the mid-range teams from the teams that we would expect to make it into the World Championship. So I think the defensive meta is very, very interesting. Like you said, a lot of wars are getting a lot of defenses, especially compared to what we used to see at Town Hall 14, where we see perfect wars being a very, very common situation. And now if you get 13 stars, you've performed absolutely phenomenal, and ITP definitely met that mark. This one obviously is falling short. You need the Super Archer Bomb to secure the Town Hall, and it was just the last-ditch effort there. There was no way they could pull off the win there. He tried to take the risk and still go in at the more optimal entry in the opposite of the Town Hall, but with Super Archer Bomb missing the Town Hall takedown. Obviously, that was not going to go through from the beginning. It's very important when you're trying to do a Super Archer bomb that you have the Town Hall go down. But as you see, ITP Team sweeps it with a 13-9 victory. A stellar performance out of them, and they shut down BLD City, and that's the end of the road for them. They are eliminated, and ITP still has their work cut out for them, but they have momentum here, Woody.
Superb showing from ITP Team. I don't know if we've seen any war wins on a 4-star margin yet. So to be able to pull off that 13-9 showing here against BLD City, squad that actually got a 1-star, not shown there on screen. But man, what a defense there from ITP to be able to get that victory off. So we're going to be going now into the last stage of our Swiss round today. Remember, it has required 3 wins in order to advance, and 3 losses means elimination. That means that there's still a handful, 6 teams exactly, that have 2 wins and 2 losses. They are exactly even on their win rates on matches overall and have got 1 more round to finally determine. It all comes down to this. Will they be advancing or will they be eliminated? Such a crucial position for these 6 remaining teams. We've got those 3 last spots yet to claim in the Swiss round, with 8 teams advancing in total. Next weekend, we will have that big bracket round where we will be awarding that golden ticket and $18,000 to the winning team. $50,000 total in the prize pool available for these squads. But with that last penultimate war now finished up, why don't we go ahead and check out some replays, Eric?
Absolutely. So there was one player who stood out above the rest. I called him out there during his attack, where he has a perfect hit rate on the season so far, able to help carry his team into this win. It is Latif. He's, what was he, a 4 out of 4 triples right now? Very, very impressive. But he started it with this queen charge into lightning. And a lot of times when you use the lightning with a queen charge, like, you know that the queen charge is spell intensive. The LaLo is not going to have any spell support if you're using all of your remaining spells there on the lightning. So as he makes his way forward here, he has 3 rages and no freezes, no invisibility, nothing to help the LaLo here, other than, I guess, if he has a spare rage and the queen charge doesn't end up needing it, he could ultimately use the rages on the LaLo to help them push through, but really just leaning heavy on award ability and trying to get as much value out of the queen as possible. But as he makes his way through here, take note of the wall breaks that he does. After he snipes out the Town Hall with the blimp, he can round safely around it with even more of the base cleared out towards the middle. He's able to not have to worry about the Monolith dealing damage, and he can push his way in with the queen all the way into these Infernos on the opposite side. His goal is to keep her alive. All resources invested into the queen charge, but the lightning technically is invested into the queen charge because it's protecting her flank and removing those buildings off of hers from striking her as she makes her way forward. But he has to fight out the CC. The king wraps around the bottom. The king also is providing funneling wall, taking out some of the defense on the outside. But as he moves over to the right side of the base, he moves into a tanking position for the scatter shot. And I guess he never got the scatter shot. He got the LaLo started right before he pulled it. But with the scatter shot and everything packed in that corner around the rage tower, that rage tower is getting a huge amount of damage boost with the ward ability and the king under Phoenix. Everybody that is getting hit by all that damage is under an invincibility, so they're not actually able to get taken out right there. So he just had to move through that area. It's the most threatening area of the base. Whether you want to send in hogs into it, whether you want to send in LaLo into it, you got to push really, really hard into that area of the base while you have that protection, because, like I said, you have no freezes. So the queen, able to use the rages that she had, able to power through the core of the base there, take out that defensive road champion with her ability, tags out the other Inferno because he got the triple wall break all the way into the middle of the base, and that ultimately set him up. Ultimately, he carries through. He has the road champion pushing all the way until the end of the attack there. She survives as well. Warden eventually got taken out by a black bear bomb, but like at that point, whatever, he's absolutely got it crushed there. And he can now take the momentum that he gathered in this one here and send it into the next war here, the last war that will decide it.
I'm happy that we can also report that from the other side of the scoreboard, TWOB and Furia Nocturna have both won in their matches with a 1-2 record to start that round. They are now 2-2. That means that they will be advancing on to face off against their respective Chasmac squads on the other side of the battlefield. It looks like Chasmac G.S. will be TWOB's opponent, and Chasmac EA will be going up against Furia Nocturna. That leaves ITP Team to face off against VN Esporting, and those will be our final 3 matches. But before we get into those, why don't you take a quick minute breather, Eric? I will have another replay to jump into real quick here, and we'll get to see a little bit more action from our previous match before we get to hop into the final round of today. So please go ahead and throw that up. Here we go. We're going to be watching Marrawi again, who we saw once again later on in this war, securing the win for ITP Team with a 3-star showing. He did this striking at that center of the base with those lightning spells, hitting very hard against the Eagle artillery, getting out a very crucial target that has so often caused many problems for these LaLo raids. Getting a lot of big splash damage incoming late in the raid is not at all what you want to see, and so early investment with those spells does leave you a little bit less versatile and able to respond to traps as they spring up. But with that big Eagle down and out, that is just definitely worth the price that you got to pay for Marrawi in this case. He's also going to be rolling that log launcher through to give access for this Archer Queen. Very good to not have to commit a jump spell late in the raid, or even have to worry about wall breakers, which can do really great work on external walls, but it is difficult to thread the needle there. He does get to add on a Headhunter as well to take down that enemy Royal Champion. Just another really great example of the flexibility that Marrawi has and the focus that he has on this multi-pronged attack, adding exactly the number of troops needed to take down those crucial key targets and continue to push on into the base. Archer Queen has no problem at all with those Ice Golems finally over on the back end. They will slow her down a little bit, but that's almost good news for Marrawi at this point, who needs to buy a little bit of time before she gets into that Monolith range and sets up for the second stage of this strike. We now see that Royal Champion adding on to the Barbarian King to take down that Town Hall to almost 0 hit points. There were no battle builders nearby, though, so fortunately the Queen got an easy finish right afterwards. And even with a little bit of poison damage trying to tick away at her archers and that Unicorn, she has done all the work necessary to set up for a beautiful finishing blow here with these balloons. Notably does not add that Lava Hound in right away. Those balloons start to take some damage, a lot of splash damage in fact, from the Wizard Tower and the multi-target Inferno, but protected by the Eternal Tome, perfectly timed to carry them through 2 waves of successive multi-target splash damage defenses. He has done an amazing job at recognizing the shape of this base is just perfectly set up for that sort of strike, spreading out balloons along the backside now, even with a Tesla farm popping up to protect that multi-target Inferno. Marrawi knew at this point essentially that it was all over. He had found the 3 stars that his team needed and was going to be able to finish it off without any additional problems. You even see he had an additional Headhunter ready to throw in to help commit to this enemy Barbarian King, who, even though he can't hit those minions and balloons, might have caused a little bit of problem if there was a concern about timing in the end here. Nevertheless, Marrawi with that 3-star strike, extra balloons to spare, and plenty of time. Even though the replay is about to be over, he had a little bit of time left here to finish that 3-star off. And with that triple late in the war, now found an easy win for ITP Team. 4 stars up over BLD City. Very confidently positioned here. We're seeing the rest of the scoreboard show up now with Furia Nocturna actually getting 14 stars, very nearly earning a perfect war against Zigal, whereas TWOB got a 12-11, much more narrow victory over RVNT there, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, that's some impressive stuff there to see them putting in a 14-star war. Look at that. They only missed a perfect war by, it looks like, 4 buildings. Yeah, it looks like 4 buildings off of the perfect war there. So very impressive stuff. But all the teams that came out of the lower bracket, out of that 1 and 2 bracket, will get matched against a team that's up in, that came out of the 2 and 1 bracket. So everybody at 2 and 2 now, as we'll see this next exchange, this next set of rounds between the last 3 wars. We'll see 3 teams get eliminated and 3 teams make it in and claim the last spots in the playoffs. So this is, it all comes down to this here, Woody, as they've been fighting for days now, for weeks, if you include the qualifier stages, and they still have a lot ahead of them, even if they make it through here, because they are going to be going ahead and playing for a golden ticket if they actually end up making it through to the playoffs. So 1 round to go. And I mean, all these teams that are coming off a lower bracket, like, like I say, an ITP has some momentum, but yeah, everybody else is looking pretty strong there as well, with some pretty solid scores put up specifically Furia Nocturna.
Yeah, perhaps we might be able to look at that bracket one more time just to give everyone a sense for the scope of the challenge that has been here for these teams getting to this final end position. These squads are having to play more wars than any other teams in the Swiss stage. Some lucky squads, some fortunate, some well-prepared squads, I should say, went a 3-0 scoreline and only had to play 3 matches. These squads have already played 4 matches and need another win in order to move on. But it's that far right square box where you see the 6 teams that are still up. We're going to get a chance to watch Chasmac G.S versus TWOB. And in the background, we're going to do our best to continue providing on the ball reports about ITP Team versus VN Esporting, as well as Chasmac EA versus Furia Nocturna. I think that we have a few more moments that we're going to have to wait before that next attack does get prepped and ready. Of course, these teams deserve preparation time and need that opportunity to study the bases that they're going up against. So I think that we're going to have another chance to watch a replay from that previous match as well to get a little bit more time for these squads getting ready. But with that now announced, Chasmac G.S versus TWOB, please let us know in the chat who you are cheering on, who you hope to win. Chasmac Gaming having brought 2 squads here now to see 2 of them both now on the bubble round with this opportunity to advance, having fought valiantly along the top side, both of them with a 2-1 record, but both falling earlier in the day. Are they going to get to wake up and at least get one of them to move on into the bracket stage? Or is it going to be TWOB, another team that I see a lot of fans cheering on in the chat, or Furia Nocturna, a squad that has had an impressive run along the bottom side of this bracket in that 1 and 2 position? We actually even see ITP Team, one of those potential hero runs from an 0-2 record, now at a 2-2 record, and the possibility to advance from a reverse sweep spot. Really great storylines developing for all 6 of these teams, and the potential for only 3 of them to advance in the Queso Cup 2023.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm really looking forward to see the rosters here for the TWB versus Chasmac. I know there's a lot of fans out there of both of these teams. Chasmac GS played under the name just GS out of Japan. They played in the World Championship of Clash of Clans, and they got 4th place in the World Championship. So a very, very impressive squad just recently signed into Chasmac Gaming. But TWB on the other side there definitely has some notable names, and specifically they're out of India. And if I want to see the rosters, because I want to see if famous YouTuber is over on that side there, because normally we see Sumit007 playing on their squad. So I'm looking forward to see what they have for us today.
Yeah, we saw the Indian Clashers bring several well-known players to ESL's competition last year with a chance to get that golden ticket. Came very, very close to doing so. In fact, I think they were in the golden ticket round, but lost it. This will be another clear opportunity now for that country to be represented on the global stage, with TWOB fighting to maintain survivability here in the Queso Cup 2023. 6 teams. Let's see, 8 teams will be qualifying, and 5 teams have already made that qualification. So 3 more yet to find in this last round of 6 teams that are left. I'm spitting out numbers at you because I'm just trying to make sure that it's all correctly shaped in my own head as we go into this last bout, this last battle. Eric, do we have a replay to put up there, or are we going to do rosters next? You know what? Let's let production decide. I'm sure they'll figure it out.
It sounds like we're delayed on being able to get a replay up here, but we have a few minutes here before the next war starts. Let's quickly go over, for the people who don't understand, the full scope of how this tournament is going to go. So when they first of all, anybody can sign up for these golden ticket competitions and play for these huge prize pools and get a chance to get into the World Championship. So with completely open signups that you can find on your Esports tab in game, whenever a tournament rolls into qualifications, you can go in, you can sign up in the open qualifiers. You'll have to play through a bracket there, and then the 16 teams that emerge from that bracket out of each of you get 8 from each of the open qualifiers. And that also makes it even more impressive when we see the same teams starting fresh, literally at the same level as anybody else in the world that wanted to get involved. They have to start at the bottom and they have to climb all the way through the ranks alongside everybody else. But we always see those same handful of teams always rising to the top. We track them all the way through and they almost always deliver. And we have seen, that's why I think every World of the World Championship, we've seen like an overlap of like 5 or 6 teams in almost every single world championship as the same teams continue to get to the top. But once we have 16 teams that make it through and get into the Swiss stages, that's how we end up with these 16. Once we get into the next stage of the tournament, when we qualify these 8 teams, they're going to be put into another bracket and play for the playoffs. And then that's where the prizes start to be dished out, with that top prize being $18,000 on top of the coveted World Championship golden tickets. So a huge amount to play for. And it just shows you how impressive it is that these teams continue to deliver over and over and over again here, Woody.
Well, the rosters are up on screen now, and you will have no more mysteries. Chasmac G.S. has brought Kilaha, adding to a roster that's very familiar: Ren, Ogayati, Ryuta, and Nyairomi. TWOB, on the other hand, will be bringing Ijaz, Gohil, Drago, Tayab, and the man of the hour that you were looking for, it's going to be Sumit to round out the end of that roster, Eric.
Absolutely. This is going to be a good one. I can't wait for it to start. But you would also note that we have the wars out of prep now, as they only get 8 minutes from the start of the war to be able to plan out their first attack. The wars, if you're unfamiliar with the format, they have a 45-minute time. They start their attacks at the 37-minute mark of the war, and then they have to attack chaining together one after another. So a very, very small amount of time to plan for the initial attackers. The players who get to go a little bit later in the war get a little bit more time to plan, but a lot of preparation goes into this long before they ever reach this stage. They have to get all the base prep. They have to decide what they want to do for defenses. They have to try to develop a game plan for their opponent, because if you know what your opponent likes to use, then you can run specific bases and CCs that would try to counter that. And a lot of the defenses come down to predicting what your opponent's going to do. So if you know your opponent, especially with the well-known teams like both of these, then you have an idea of what they might throw at you, and you can run bases that are specifically able to counter those strategies. But teams that have a lot more versatility, which I definitely feel like both of these teams have a huge amount of versatility, they're going to have an advantage. But look at the stat line here. I mean, Woody, we have a significant star advantage onto the GS side.
Yeah, a star advantage. They've got an advantage in terms of total matches played, and in terms of previous performance results, having shown up on the global stage with 93.3% average destruction and 13.5 average stars. GS is an absolute beast of a team. TWOB, on the other hand, with 86% average destruction, 11.25 stars, much lower. So the fact that they are both now in this 2-2 positioning means that it is really going to be an underdog run to the top if TWOB is able to, in fact, continue their push and overcome this massive mountain that stands before them with GS. Both of their MVPs, though, holding on to that 3 out of 4 hit rate. Gohil for TWOB and Nyairomi for GS, the MVPs there. They've got a deep roster, and anyone here on either side of these teams can get those 3 stars. But I got to say, GS has been a lot more consistent over the previous wars, and coming from the upper side of the bracket has had more difficult opponents. So these are all really important factors to consider that I say would give GS at least a 75% chance of winning this upcoming match, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see what the polls are for the chats out on the broadcast out on YouTube, on Twitch, everywhere. It's broadcast all over the place there on Facebook. Guys, but I want to point out that GS actually was able to score the only perfect war of the Swiss stages so far. They were able to put in 15 stars against BLD City, who we just saw in action, and that was a very, very, very impressive thing to do at Town Hall 15. Like, we see these 13-star wars, but to get 15 stars, that is why their average attack stars is so high, because they've been consistently performing on the very high end. But then to also tack on that perfect war on top of everything else there, they're performing at the highest level. But at the same time, they just came off of that loss. And so TWB coming into this with a win is going to give them some confidence boost there as they get ready to fight this team that played in last year's World Championship.
Well, if you want to tussle with the best, you got to be able to beat them at least once or twice right here. The Queso Cup has got some amazing competitors, and it is going to come down to the wire now for Chasmac G.S. and TWOB in the last round of competition. Keep in mind also that we've got ITP Team against VN Esporting, as well as another Chasmac team, EA, going up against Furia Nocturna on the other side of this bracket. So 2 more matches that we will do our best to keep you updated on in the background. But for now, the stage is set. Chasmac G.S. and TWOB are marching into battle. They're 5 players. Each will be trying to score as many stars as possible. And if not win on that match, at least get the percentage lead. CMG Ren will be the first to strike with a Lava Hound and balloons. Our famous LaLo hitter has brought a bunch of lightnings, 7 in fact, to obliterate that left side compartment.
Yes, and he got the Queen out of the way there as well. Notice how he brought in 7 Lightning to take out Inferno. Normally it takes 5 and a Quake there if you want to be efficient, but if you want to tag out the defense and Queen at the same time, then don't bring the Earthquake and instead just bring in 7 Lightning and get her out of the way. But at the same time, looks like he is diving his King towards the Town Hall. Now, I question whether the King is going to have enough to actually take the Town Hall, or he's just trying to set up for something else to go in after it. And exactly on cue there, he has a Wall Wrecker diving in to go secure the Town Hall takedown, while the Queen moves along the bottom of the base here where she can reach another air defense. She can't reach that Expo, so she's just going to chill out down there, maybe tag out that sweeper. But he's got a strong setup here. Gets that invisibility tower triggered early before the Wall Wrecker arrives, and this Queen might reach some safety. No, she's going down, but that's the least of our concern. She got her job done. The Wall Wrecker arrives to the Town Hall. The King is still alive. The World Champion's still alive. What's inside of the Wall Wrecker here, Woody? The sneakies? I think sneaky goblins.
Was it sneaky goblins? Yeah, I didn't even see them. They were just that sneaky. But taking down the Town Hall after all, Ren will get the first star claimed. The Archer Queen charge on the bottom is going to be all over with now, so it's up to the balloons themselves to get the finishing blow here. Very healthy Lava Hound paths all the way across the base, providing some excellent coverage for these balloons. Finally finds a Seeking Air Mine on the other side, but there's a second Lava Hound, very healthy, ready to continue the assault. Just keep an eye on that Monolith and single target Inferno. They should not be a big problem for those balloons. But oh, getting the lock onto the Grand Warden is bad news for Ren. Means that he's going to lose that life aura for these balloons going into the interior. But what really is there to take them down? It's just point defenses on the inside here. With a Lava Hound popping now, that should be a lot of additional support to clean up the inside of this base. And I don't know what could stop them at this point. It would have to be a lot of red bombs. There's one of them right there. Takes out a bunch of balloons. Are there any more?
Well, he already got a couple troops to go into the middle of the base there, so he had some trap clearing. I don't know if he cleared all of them, so there still could be some hiding. But on top of that, invisibility tower is going to trigger as soon as he gets there, so these balloons are going to turn away for a moment. But with only a single Inferno, he could have the minions and pubs swarming. He's got the baby dragon in the mix as well. He's got the damage output. Watch for red air bombs. If a single red air bomb goes off, then it can shut the attack down. The baby dragon gets hit. He's got to get to this Inferno. Oh, shutting him down, Woody. He can't make it to it. 98% as the invisibility tower ends up protecting it and pushes the balloons away.
Wow, man. I underestimated that single target Inferno. I was like, you're going to overwhelm it with like he's got 24 pups, minions, baby dragon. He even had an archer on the backside over there. Don't forget about the archer, okay? But still not going to be enough there. That invisibility spell just coming in so crucially important to give the defense there from Drago of TWOB. Lots of fans from the Indian team going to be cheering on in the chat now as they has held off Ren. A massive victory in defense, but at what cost? You know, a 2-star 98% is a very solid start. It might not be the triple, but we have seen many more attacks fall much shorter of that. So the defenses have barely held on here for TWOB, but that is going to leave nothing short of a 3-star for their side in order to overcome the standard set by Chasmac.
Interesting attack here. I mean, Inferno Dragons with Dragon Riders here. We haven't seen this for a very long time, and he's paired with Lightning as well. He's got skeleton spells that can provide distraction for either his heroes or for these Inferno Dragons. But Inferno Dragons don't have a lot of HP, but they have an enormous amount of damage output. So if you can protect them, if you can stop them from getting knocked back by sweepers, which he is able to use the Lightning to take out, at the same time claiming that Inferno, now he has very little for, I mean, with the multi-Inferno out of the way here, the Inferno Dragons can march through, the skeleton spells can claim maximum value, but he's making the long, this is a really dangerous approach here because the Queen and World Champion and the gap that is provided by that Lightning is going to cause his Inferno Dragons, the Dragon Riders, to split on the right and left side of the face. It's going to be about this blimp going in to secure the Town Hall and then hoping he has enough force on the other side. This is really, really risky, Woody.
He also found a tornado trap early on, which got a little bit of an awkward positioning there for the Balloons and the Dragon Riders. Although he did manage to spread back out, again, a few of them pathing toward the outside of the base over there alongside the top. And he certainly needs it. There was only one low-health Dragon Rider doing some damage up there. The Battle Blimp makes it all the way into the Town Hall, and he is still going to be holding on to that Royal Champion ability. The Barbarian King ready to make his march inward and pop that Iron Fist. Go Heel is doing his best to finish this base off, and with 2 stars so far, he has got only one line of defenses left on the far side. That Archer Queen has taken an absolute pummeling, but she is ready to get back in the action with the Unicorn to top her off again. Enemy Barbarian King on defense is going to start to try to march into the action, swinging that big old pixel sword, but the Royal Champion has got him stabbed down. Plenty of time for the cleanup and lots of troops ready to do it. The 3-star looks secured, and Go Heel will pump his fist, show us the win.
Absolutely. So much patience there on that blimp to sail across the base. He almost was able to swag his Royal Champion at the end, but those Inferno Dragons, they did some work, and it's all smiles over here as TWOB open up with the lead. They got 2 buildings and a star up on Chasmac G.S, and they start off very strong. That's a very impressive attack there because, I mean, we know that the Dragon attacks in general have been very difficult. They're really, really strong at everything Town Hall 14 and below. But at Town Hall 15, we rarely see success with them, and every time you see success with Inferno Dragons, Super Dragons, the regular Dragons, it is very, very impressive to see because they're so rare to come by.
Yeah, man, this underdog has got some nasty teeth and is biting into Chasmac G.S and won't let go. The 2% advantage now is going to be dwarfed to that full star that they've been able to pick up. But remember, we've seen perfect wars before from Chasmac G.S. That 98% 2-star came awfully close to getting the triple early on. We haven't even seen the full array, the arsenal yet to bear by Chasmac. So this is certainly a strong start for TWOB, but not as dominating as we have seen from some previous winners in the past. And they have still got their work cut out for them against Chasmac G.S, who will be coming in next. We'll see if they're going to be bringing back those reliable, certainly useful strategies that have seen a lot of success before. The Lava Hound Balloon combination, not quite getting all 3 stars there in that first hit for them, but has so often been the mainstay going back years now at this point. So let's see if they got it again. Yep, it's going to be another Laloon for Chasmac by Nairome.
It's going to be a little bit different. He's going to go for the Skelly Donut. This invisibility has to be perfectly on point, 3 tiles away from the edge of the building to make sure that it covers the skeletons but doesn't cover the buildings themselves. He goes after the CC. He goes after the Monolith. And if you don't know, if you have skeleton spells or bat spells, deployed into the CC range. They cannot hold the CC, and if you destroy the CC before the troops are coming out of it, then they can no longer deploy. So he doesn't need a poison. He's got the CC and the Monolith down, 2 major threats, and 2 things that can wreck his heroes, because we know what the CC coming out can do as a stall as the heroes move into high damage and try to go after this Town Hall and anything else they're going after. But he does get the King, and the Golem's going off in the wrong direction though. I think the Golem was supposed to stick with the Queen, and it's off following the King right now, so the Queen is taking some heavy damage as it turns back. He may need to invest some spells in that. He does, but his Queen ability. He's not going to have a Queen ability for the Tower takedown. I'm a bit worried about this now, Woody.
Yeah, this is a shaky spot for Nairomi, but he's been able to pull off recoveries better than this before. You see him furiously tapping on that device, doing his best to get those troops down at exactly the right spot and making sure that he's zoomed in and tile perfect on these deployments. That Queen is awfully low, though, you are right, and just a unicorn to try to heal her back up. He is in a very tricky spot. Ooh, Queen goes down now. It's going to try to pivot off onto the Royal Champion, but it goes down before it gets a chance to get any help in there. Balloons are charging in past that Grand Warden's life aura, and that means that they are going to have to do as much work as they can on their own, because they are not going to get any support from him on the backside. Sorry about that for a moment there. Eric, go ahead and take over.
Okay, well, the LaLo, because he had to burn all of his freezes, is in a little bit of a vulnerable position right now, but the Slammer going to the core of the base there where the Rage Tower is active, dumps out a Dragon Rider, and the Dragon Rider is going to claim that Multi-Inferno before he has to face it with the Balloons. The Balloons go up north there, they swarm into the Defensive Warden and the Eagle Artillery. He's got more Balloons coming behind the Sweeper. They'll get that Expo out of the way. He's still got his Warden moving. He needs to get the Defensive Warden down. That Warden hits like a truck, but he's heavily distracted right now on all of these lava pups. But the Dragon Rider is going to be critical here, because the Dragon Rider is going to be enough troop space that it stacks and it gets the Warden to deliver some strikes, directing his targeting into the last couple of defenses, and he does pull through.
Nice.
Recovers when the Golem does him dirty, and that Queen ability went off. Those critical freezes to get the Town Hall taken down, carries him through, and he slides that one past. So a very, very close one, and you can see a sigh of relief there as he locks it in.
And excitement from the Chasmac Gaming crew. They are going to be very pleased that that 3-star was able to come about. Nairomi just having a tough entry point there, but able to salvage and repair those troops, keeping them all grouped together for the final strike along the top side of the base. You know, it was looking pretty scary here, but I noticed now that he did a lot of great work early on, shaping up this base for perfect bundling later on, committing a lot of spells to save onto the later stage of this strike, giving him that versatility and the ability to shut down with freezes and to be able to zip through with lots of haste to get those balloons onto target as quickly as possible. And as you also noted toward the end there, that Grand Warden not necessarily always targeting the perfect defense, but with still holding onto that Dragon Rider, he will be able to lock on to defenses first. Another big advantage in bringing those sorts of troops, Dragon Riders, Hog Riders, anything that's going to target defenses. Definitely nice pairing with the Grand Warden there.
Absolutely, but now we see the returning attack here from TWOB with 1 triple on the board. They need to cross 98% to be able to stay in the lead here after their initial exchange, but it looks like it's going to be a Super Wizard dropping out of the blimp. A handful of them will go right out into the invisibility and into that rage, hitting some traps there, but not before claiming their primary targets, and he'll get that Eagle Artillery. He got the Inferno out of the way, and is getting the Rage Tower too. I mean, he got it triggered. It's a very low HP. The Battle Builder is going to go to work there to try to repair it, and we'll see if that causes any problems later on, but he should be able to reach it before it has a chance to reset, and he's going to, instead of using a poison, he brings in an Electro Titan that'll provide tanking in front of the Queen, but at the same time, the Electro Titan's aura immediately rips through those lava pups and does the same job as the poison would do, and saves some spells that he can conserve for the LaLo, which he has a lot of them. Look how many freezes he brought in this here, Woody.
Yeah, this is a very nice spell deployment possibility here for Drago, now ready to get them added on. for the LaLo component at the end of the raid. Just this little Subi dive to poke in here over onto the right side, get a lot of good damage chunked in there by keeping those heroes clumped together, and now he will get to save all of his spell energy for the second stage of this attack. Life Aura well positioned to help all of these balloons. This is a beautiful entry point for Drago of TWOB. Adds on a late Lava Hound now to try to path upward toward that air defense at the 9 o'clock position. Few shots off there onto the balloons, but he will protect them with that Grand Warden Eternal Tome. Big damage coming in from that multi-target Inferno, though he needs to get them pathed over and frozen immediately. Oh, loses a lot of balloons to bombs there, and the traps are going to be coming in hot and heavy for Drago. Can he still power through and finish off this top side?
He's looking really good here. The World Champion sweeping through strong. Even though a lot of the blues died in that stack there's plenty more as reinforcement coming to the side. He's got a Lava Hound as well. I want to note that as he was pushing through there's an extra thing that he did. He had not only that late Lava Hound deployed, but he also stacked it with Headhunters, and they were all protected through that ward ability, maximizing that warden ability value. His Queen even survives until the end, and that helped him get through that back end immensely, keeping tons of protection. Huge amount of warden ability value on top of just what he got out of the blues, protecting him from the blast.
And you just see that look of joy on his face as he does all the work necessary, shows his device up to the screen, and gets the 3 stars plenty clean. Perfect start so far from TWOB. One of the only clans that we've seen 2 back-to-back triples since the very first war in the Swiss stage. So very strong and impressive beginning here for TWOB. I'm very happy to see them playing at their best when it matters most in the last round of this Swiss stage. But once again, Chasmac G.S. is a team that has been to the top of the mountain. They've looked over the hill, have seen the surroundings, and have been here before. This is no strange territory for them, and we certainly expect to see them coming back to push even harder into TOB and keep that pressure on. Now, Chasmac does have that disadvantage of having to strike first and having that little bit of fog of war uncertainty about what TWOB is going to be able to follow up with. But with 2 3 stars already, they know that they need to be putting triples up on the board if they want to keep pace against an Indian team that is just vicious with these attacks so far, Eric.
Absolutely. And you get to see... You got to put the pressure on if you can get into the lead here. So if they can get a triple here, and that's what they were able to do after their second attack. They were able to get that triple. They were able to put the pressure on. Clearly, TWB is handling it very well. And this next one is going to be another LaLo, and it's going to be another... Looks like actually interesting. He's actually got a jump spell in this Skelly LaLos as he goes in with the invisibilities and the scallop spells to go after the CC and after the Monolith. Usually those are the key targets as long as neither of them are covered by an invisibility tower to try to protect them. But when so many people are switching over to Rage Towers, it does open up a lot of bases to this potential, and he can get some good value out of that, and he does. And now we'll see what kind of value he can get out of the heroes with that jump spell included and a golem to provide some tanking.
Entries in the bottom left now, and enemy Archer Queen's going to start firing away at the Barb King. He'll make a charge through, and with that Iron Fist, she has popped over the wall. Not a good defensive spot for her to be in. Kilaha will be able to take her down and swings that sword again at a scatter shot now. Almost about to finish it off. There it goes. The last strike is good. And that big crucial defense has been eliminated. We've got additional firepower now coming in from the bottom right side of the base as Kalaha will be able to set up that Royal Champion and get those external defenses down. Jumping over into the interior now, the Archer Queen takes down an Eagle Artillery. This is a massively high value strike early on, and he still has quite a few spells ready to commit to the far end for those Lava Hound balloons.
Wow, this Royal Champion was able to push all the way through there, cleared out almost everything around the Rage Tower, and now he's going to go in with the LaLo Force. He's got the Blip going to sail through under the board ability, also catching the Lava Hound. As soon as the Lava Hound gets into a tanking position for those top quarter defenses, he drops in more balloons and completely swarms that area of the base. He's going to be ending into the Multi-Inferno, but by the time he gets there, the Sneaky Goblins should have the Town Hall down, and the the poison is going to be right there, island off of everybody else, and all the balloons are going to circle around it and collapse their way into this multi. He's got the freeze on standby. The haze carries him in, and GS will get the triple here, Woody. It's another attack putting a lot of pressure over to TWB to continue to perform. They are 2 buildings off of perfect right now, as the time bell is the only thing holding them back.
Build a monument and put Kilaha's name on it, because this was such an impressive showing. It is going to be well remembered by fans of Chasmac. When GS is down, they will keep on swinging. And as you mentioned, only missing a few buildings against TWOB. Chasmac Gaming's Kilaha now with another 3-star in stellar fashion, wiping out the bottom half of that base with just heroes, and then sweeping all the way through the top. Any other attacker, I would have been, starting to get a little worried that the town hall on the very far side would present a bit of difficulty for the last line of that attack, but easily timed that Grand Warden Eternal Tome to protect the Battle Blimp all the way through the base, and managed to get most of those balloons protected as well. This was an easy shutdown here for Kilaha, and TWOB are once again put in that exhausting position of having to get another triple to stay ahead of Chasmac.
Yeah, these attacks, they make it look easy. They make it look easy, but it's like, after you see how they were able to take the base down, you're like, I might be able to go replicate that in my own attacks there, but being able to identify that in the first place and realize that that entry has a possibility, and then to have the confidence to go in and throw it and end on the town hall in this stage of the tournament at this caliber of war against this caliber of team. We'll see now if TWB can go in with a Sumit is going in with one of his favorite attacks here, and we'll see if he can make it happen with the Super Archer Bomb into Sui LaLo as he invests the Warden early. Lots of balloons invested there as well, being protected by the Ward ability to try to clear out the left side of the base, but this is all about Super Archer Bomb value, and there is a lot of it around that Multi-Inferno. If he gets the Town Hall, that'll be the most important target, but anything else he claims in the area will increase his chances of pulling through with the heroes and the LaLo afterwards.
And the spells are just raining down in the middle of this base. Super Archers have obliterated the Eagle Artillery, have shot all the way through, piercing that Town Hall. That poor Archer Queen on defense has just got a question mark over her head and nothing left to do until one of those pops out of the invisibility spell. Where did the center of this base go, Eric?
It's gone, and on top of that, he even had a couple of the archers get leaked out of the invisibility, and they got hit by a scatter shot, but the other ones still kept going. I want to point out that as they were pushing the strikes at the CC, they were able to get the shots through the CC, and they took out the Monolith on the other side of the base. He got the CC pull. He drew it off to the far left side of the base and soloed it with that Electro Titan, and the heroes make their way in now, and if he can get the heroes to survive and get the protection of the blues going over the head there, then he's in a good spot. Notice how he has Ice Hounds in this one. If you're going to invest all of your spells into going in with that Super Archer Bomb, then Ice Hounds are critical to freeze up the back-end defenses, and I think if he keeps this Road Champion alive, she can go in and clear out anything that was left in the top corner of the base, even if that Queen falls short. But Woody, he still has 7 balloons on standby. He's got the Ice Hound moving. The Road Champion is moving as well. This is absolutely crushed, and Sumit 007 from TWB is over the moon excited right there as he knows that his team stays perfect. 3 triples on the board as they maintain their lead above Chasmac G.S.
Sumit 007 with 2 big thumbs up, a license to kill, and he has slain another monster. CMG Ren's base is obliterated, and another perfect march with a tic-tac-toe 3-in-a-row start by TWOB to earn 9 stars total. Chasmac G.S. might have thought that they could get some strong defense early on and just pummel through. And man, if you could have given them an 8-star with 59.6% destruction out of 3 attacks, almost any team would be very happy with that offensive start. But against TWOB, it is just not enough so far. 9 stars up against them, and Chasmac have now only got 2 attacks to try to close that gap. They can still do it, but man, TWOB are just not letting up the pressure at all, are they, Eric?
Absolutely not. I mean, they're both playing really well in this one here, which is impressive. I feel like with this kind of performance, they should have already been qualified for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Only one team is going to move through here. Somebody is getting eliminated. This is the final match of the Swiss stages, and if they don't pull through here, they do not pull through at all, and they'll have to go after one of the other golden tickets because they will be out of the running for this one if they don't make it. So a lot of pressure here, a lot of high octane offense here as they just continue to triple after triple after triple, and even the miss, the time fail, staying extremely high percentage. And it's a slight, very slight advantage into TWOB's favor, but Ogiyati is going to try to change that here with a queen charge into LaLo against another box space here. And I want to point out, at the moment he has a battle drill selected, and I'm always curious to see what kind of creative things people can come up with to utilize the battle drill, the newest siege machine.
Yeah, haven't seen that yet in this Swiss stage of competition, so always excited to see something new be brought in here. Ogiyati is going to be charging out in this right side corner first with the Barbarian King, joined up with an Archer Queen, takes down an enemy multi, and gets the Barbarian King on defense down as well. Seeks in there with a couple of balloons, and boom, catches those Seeking Air Mines. Great job to those Coco Loons, catching them nice and early. Ogiyati with a perfect plan to get those shut down, and with a little bit of funneling along the bottom side as well. Those Goblins helping to keep that Archer Queen on path toward the middle of this base. Catches an enemy skeleton trap, and that's going to slow her down a little bit. Rocket Looning pathing over onto that poor Unicorn. No! Save the Unicorn! No! Unicorn goes down, and that's going to put a little bit more healing pressure onto this Queen. Have to take out that enemy Rocket Loon nice and quick. She's going to get it done, and looks like a Phoenix Steel path along the top side. Here comes the drill, though, Eric.
All right, Battle Drill's going to work with the World Champion. Remember, the Battle Drill stuns the defenses, the Diggy stuns the defenses. So he has double stuns as he moves through that area, and so plenty of opportunities to lock out all the defenses that they engage. I want to point out that King was able to handle the defensive World Champion under his Phoenix before he went down, and he got the scatter shot up there, but the World Champion and the Drill are going to try to handle the bottom scatter shot and the defensive Queen, and with both sides removed, this Queen keeps charging through the middle. She has open walls, she wraps her way through, she picks off the multi-Inferno. She had to burn an invisibility to get through with the healers getting targeted by the Inferno under the Rage Tower, but she keeps moving, she's under Rage, she'll take the other Inferno down, and she's left very little for the LaLo to go after, and he still has a full force here, moving in from the left side with the Queen collapsing in on the right, away from the Monolith for now.
Here they move into the final compartment. Freezes down on the town hall. Those balloons are taking a lot of damage. Another freeze comes out there to protect them. One does path over to the town hall. Get this drops off there. The Eternal Toe protecting them. Gotta go through fast though. It's gonna wear off. What? He just assisted the town hall.
What does he do? What does he? What do you do? Oh, the blues turn back and direct the warning targeting. He's out more blues up top here. He might be able to overwhelm this Monolith. He pulls the healers into a tanky position. Eric. With that, Hunters, he clears the traps. Is standing right in position. Does he have time? I don't know if he has enough time here.
That is not going to be enough. Chasmac left with 2 stars again against a TWOB defense that will not fall. TWOB with another pickup now have just got 1 star deficit to Chasmac, and with an additional attack left ready to go, they are going to come in over the top. This Indian team keeps on kicking, punching back, tooth and claw. They will not give in, and they are going to hold on to that lead as we move into the late war. Fantastic defenses, stellar offense. TWOB is a monster team, and don't you underestimate them. That was a mistake I will not make again, Eric.
Oh, they are good. They are good. And I mean, you've really got to hand it to GS, even though they have a couple of misses there. They're just time fails. I really feel like that with the traps cleared in that area, if he had more time, he would have easily been able to overwhelm the Monolith with what he had remaining. A solid attempt. But is this another risk? Is this another risk play here? It's going to be another attempt at the Inferno Dragons, breaking it out one more time, goes ahead and uses the lightning to take out the sweeper in the core of the base, and he also picked up an Inferno out of the core of the base there as well, leaving up two single Infernos and no multis. Very similar to what they did with this exact same attack earlier in the war. But once again, we're going to rely on that blimp to secure the Town Hall takedown, and if it misses it, we could see a full swing of this war. So very important attack right here. Inferno Dragons in general, very difficult to land triples with, but they proved it can work, and they'll try to prove it again here, Woody.
Chasmac need a defense here. If TWOB triple, they will have 12 stars and can walk away with the win with just a 2-star on their final strike. If GS get the defense here, though, they'll need another one to follow up, as well as a 3-star of their own to keep TWOB's feet to the fire. With the first star claim, though, the Town Hall is down. Second star claimed at 50%. TWOB will not be letting up any pressure at all. Inferno Dragons heating up, well spread across this map, and nicely protected still by the Grand Warden, ready to send in that big ability from the Archer Queen along the bottom corner, and hasn't even deployed the Royal Champion yet.
I got the defensive queen down. All these Inferno Dragons continue to survive. Nothing is distracting their beams. They just build up and they take down the defenses. Like a lot of times when you have defensive heroes causing problems with them, when you have sweepers knocking them back and resetting their beams as they're trying to build up there, they can be stalled. But he handled it with perfection here, and he's actually going to be able to push all the way through with a minute remaining. His Royal Champion ability, with the Diggy there, getting the stuns of the defenses, should be able to clear out all these back-end defenses, and he can just hold on to his Queen, because he'll need her to get past the defensive king, get to these last couple of buildings. But, I mean, he's down to just bare minimum to make it through to the end of the attack here, but the Royal Champion clears all of the defenses, and the Queen clearly has enough force. So HS able to get it done, and TWOB, Woody, is going for the perfect war if they can get another one.
Oh, we heard Chasmac G.S. got a perfect war? Well, time to show them that we can do it too. Holding on to that Queen ability until it's time to execute the king. Regicide committed by Ijaz of TWOB. Slays the king, and with 12 stars now, TWOB look perfect to advance. All they need to do is just put a 2-star up on that final round, and they will win. Let's see how the other two wars are going, though, because Chasmac EA and Furia Nocturna are battling it out. Chasmac EA looks to hold the banner high for Chasmac with a 3-star advantage in that war. ITP Team is defeating VN Esporting by a 3-star margin of their own. ITP Team, advancing with an 0-2 record in the first 2 matches, has nonetheless done it, and it looks like they will be all but guaranteed to move on along with Chasmac EA and TWOB.
Wow, this is impressive. Lots of one-sided wars here. I'm shocked that VN Esporting, who came out of the upper bracket, they were sitting at a 2-0 when they faced Navi, and then we just saw them play in their 2-1 round there, and they lost that as well. And you think when you go undefeated for your first 2 rounds and you reach it to that upper bracket, that 2-0, that you pretty much have it in the bag, you sit back and almost relax, but apparently not. You can continue to go on the same reverse streak there after your winning streak and have a full reversal. And ITP, I want to point out that they came out of the lower bracket. They had an 0-2, and they come back and do the full reverse. Like, it's fun that those teams collided into each other because they are polar opposites in their trajectory and their path through this Swiss stages of this Queso Cup.
Well, we have got a new prince on the battlefield with TWOB's Summit. getting that 3-star and now defending against Ryuta. Can he become a king? That golden ticket stands before him now, as his team will very likely advance with the win coming off of the next 2 rounds of this attack. Good chance for TWOB to be the first Indian team to grab that golden ticket and go to the World Finals this year, having this final chance now in the Queso Cup Swiss stage to move on. Ryuta's attack now is shaping up very well, though. The 3 stars in his sight as he drops that jump spell over that top right compartment twice in order to get all the way down to the Town Hall, freezes it up as well, and with still a very healthy set of heroes, they're ready to push on in. That'll be the first 2 stars claimed. The cleanup is going to come through with Electro Titans trying to finish off the rest of this base. Monolith is standing tall in the background with a king defending it, but it looks like Ryuta is ready to collapse on in and push harder into that final section of the base. I don't know if he's got 3 stars in him, though, Eric. What do you think?
I mean, he's got the queen ability. They'll get the Monolith down. He's got skeleton spells down, but the
Monolith stands.
He died through the poison, even with their ability active, and that is going to make it very difficult for this Row champion to make it through. He'll get the Headhunter down. He's got Growl Skellies popping out as well. This Monolith is healing up right now, Woody. He's in trouble. He had Super Archers in the mix there, and the Super Archers are off on the left side of the base. Maybe they could get it if this Monolith would go down, but he needs this Row champion to pass through. She's got... No, I take it back. She lost the Diggy, and she's not taking the path towards it. Maybe there's a glimmer of hope here. Maybe he can pull through, but if he doesn't, then his chances of making his team into playoffs here will quickly dwindle away. And I guess he still has the Yeti. It's close here. I'm not sure right now. I can't call it, Woody.
No, there's no way. I mean, that Monolith...
Yes, there is a way.
The Monolith does way too much damage. He's got big, beefy targets out in front, right? He had an Electro Titan. He was still marching through the Yeti. Like, these are big, heavy troops. But against a Monolith, that is just a poor matching for Ryuta. TWOB's defenses are just going to hang on once again, and that is going to be just 12 stars that they have held Chasmac G.S., a world's qualified team fighting at the very top of their game. TWOB are just a force to be reckoned with now, and certainly among the top performing teams from my end on this day of competition. If they managed, however, Eric, to get 1 more triple and to be among just 2 teams that got perfects, not only would they be among the 2 teams that got perfects, they would have defeated the only other team that got a perfect war in this tournament. What a standing that they could claim then, marching on into the bracket for next week, to be a perfect scoring team and to have defeated a team that made it to the Worlds previously.
Absolutely, but I mean, you gotta hand it to GS. 2 time fails, and that last attack there, if the Queen got 1 more strike off onto that Monolith, that would have been a triple as well. They played extremely well, but there's only 1 position to be claimed out into the playoffs for this match, and TWOB is going to try to put his team in. They all but have it locked in. The stars are tied. Any stars on the books here will guarantee their position for the playoffs, but they're going for the perfect war here for the final attack of the Swiss stages, and the Queen is to be charging directly at this Town Hall with a lot of ground expo, the CC, the Inferno on the side there. But I can buy that invisibility tower. His path forward here looks actually pretty good here. I like this. It's going to be a sustainable amount of damage that this Queen will take. It is definitely manageable, and we'll see if this Queen can survive and set up this LaLo.
TWOB looks very relaxed here, just laying back. Easy goes it, easy does it. He's going to be moving in with that Flame Flinger slow and steady to get those long-range shots off onto the center compartment. We should get some hits off onto that scatter shot very shortly, taking down that enemy Expo first. And as the Queen passed straight toward that Town Hall, any single star will be enough. And TWOB are advancing to the bracket stage of the Queso Cup 2023.
Absolutely. Brilliant performance by them, but he's not done yet. You gotta top it off here with a perfect war on top of everything else there. He had that invisibility tower go off, and his queen marched right past it. He can pop her ability right now, and he should, because he'll get the inferno down, but also he'll tag out the defensive queen there very likely and remove the damage off of his queen. He's still got the flame blade work on the right side. That queen path really weird. She does ultimately go down, but you know what? She's gonna pass the healers over to the world champion, and he can just continue a charge at a different kind of way, and had that world champion take advantage of the healers still alive as he pushes now into the raged up multi-infernos, or they were raged, but he got that rage tower trigger early, and now the blues can move through and the world champion can move through. He's not gonna make it. You know, it's okay, man. Woody. It's okay. 14 stars.
TWOB are going to leave us wanting a little bit more for next week, and we will get a chance to see them again on the battlefield since they are advancing into the final bracket among the best 8 teams in the world fighting in this Queso Cup 2023. TWOB from TWOB can't quite clinch the perfect war, but with 14 stars on their side, TWOB have done a magnificent job pushing to the end and facing off against a very fearsome foe. Chasmac G.S have been defeated.
Absolutely. So there we go. As soon as we see the other wars report their final results, we will see our 8 teams will be advancing into the playoffs. We already know 5 of them. We have a pretty good idea of the teams that were holding the lead there, with a 3-star lead on both of the other 2 wars there, but a landslide victory there for TWOB as TWOB closes it out there, 14 stars. But like I said, Chasmac, that score does not reflect how incredibly close they were to doing exactly the same performance as TWOB, and they even won it on percentage, which is impressive. If they could have just converted those 2 time fails that came at, like 97 and 98, yeah, there we go, 97, wow. 98, and then the 96 was literally 1 strike off of the queen to take out that monolith, and it would have been a 3-star as well. So they were on the verge of going to a perfect war themselves, honestly, even closer than TWOB was, but TWOB was able to convert the times and turn them into triples, and that puts them ahead by 2 stars and will send them into the playoffs, there, Woody.
Chasmac destroys more buildings, but TWOB finishes off more bases, 14 stars on their side, and take a look at the glorious finish for this Indian squad. Moving on now to the bracket stage. Commiserations to Chasmac G.S, but Chasmac will be represented in the bracket unless something completely strange happened in this other war. Nope, in fact, they did get that 13 to 10 star victory over Furia Nocturna. Chasmac EA will move on in the Queso Cup bracket stage, and right there alongside ITP Team, the only team that I know of that was able to keep an opponent down to 8 stars.
Wow.
Esporting really having a lot of difficulty against the base building squad over by ITP Team, who have just done brilliantly in the second day of competition with an 0-2 start to now have a 3-2 finish.
Yeah, that was really rough there for Vietnamese Esports. Remember, they climbed all the way up to the very top of the bracket, faced Na'Vi, lost there, faced the Imperium Titans, lost there, and then ITP came out of that lower bracket at the 0-2 and had the run of their season and climbed all the way up into the playoffs. So now we can see our 8 teams that are moving on. So at the top of the order there, number 1 and 2 seed there, Na'Vi and Class Champs. We have Inquisition, Badzinger, and Imperium Titan coming out of the 2-1 bracket, and then the final one there with a final record of 3-2, advancing the playoffs, TWOB, Chasmac, EA, and ITP Team. So brilliant performance for all the teams, and I guess the other 8 and everybody else, the hundreds and hundreds of teams that tried to get through the qualifiers and get here onto the stage today are going to have to wait until the next golden ticket competition and try again. So these 8 teams will move into the playoffs, and can we see the pricing here? Can we see what they're playing for once they get there? These teams are not only playing for a golden ticket to the World Championship of Clash of Clans, but they're also playing for a $50,000 prize pool here, Woody.
They sure are, Eric. Let's get that up on screen and you can see what comes alongside that golden ticket, which will be awarded to our bracket champion. But first, let's take a look at that bracket, which will be double elimination starting next week. Make sure to subscribe here where you can see the action taking place again on this channel next weekend. And here it is now shaped up. We've got Clash Champs who will be facing off against TWOB in that first round up at the top. Bad Zinger and Inquisition to follow on up next. Then it's going to be Navi and Chasmac EA in the third match, with Imperium Titans versus ITP Team in the fourth round of the Queso Cup 2023 bracket. That'll be on the 1st of April, no fooling, at noon 12 UTC. Make sure that you're subscribed here and follow us over on Twitter so you can get more information about the results of this war and the wars yet to come in the Queso Cup 2023.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, the Twitter over for the COC Esports page there post up a lot of the highlights. So if you missed any of the wars here, definitely pop over there and check out the highlights that they post. They are a lot of fun there, and some key moments of these wars that sent these teams into these positions. But really, a brilliant performance here from all the teams that played today. They definitely earned their spots there in that top 8, and I can't wait to see them play on April 1st and to see what they have for us there. But like, this whole tournament is developing. It's exciting because it is our first golden ticket to the Clash of Clans World Championship. And it's just an honor to be out here working with the Queso Cup and helping them pass out that golden ticket and all this big prize pool.
Well, it's a big thanks, of course, to Alvaro and Alicia over at Team Queso for hosting this event and for inviting us to be able to cast it. Thanks also to Clint, who's been running production for us in the background. We appreciate all the work that you guys are doing on your side. Thanks also to you, Eric, for being an amazing co-caster this weekend. It's been a lot of fun. I know that we've got another surprise guest who's going to be joining us. Maxie is our third caster to join for next weekend. So get ready for some even more hyped bracket action to take place to find out who's going to get that golden ticket to Supercell's World Championship Clash of Clans event. We've got $1 million prize pool total running throughout this entire year. And if you want to compete, make sure to follow over on COC Esports, where you can get all the details about the future golden ticket events that will be coming out very shortly. We appreciate everyone who competed in this event, and also you for tuning in and watching these guys, cheering them on to victory. We hope that you enjoyed the rounds today and that we will see you in the arena sometime soon competing against them. Very well deserved. Congratulations to all the 8 teams that are going to be advancing. That's going to be it for today. Eric, do you have any final words before we sign off?
Clash on. That's all I got.